and discharge it from the private side. The hot potato game. Prosecuting attorney, defense attorney, straw man, and you. If there is no defending, if you accept, if the county attorney begins to act too cocky with you, you can take the wind out of his sails by asking him to produce the 1040 for this case. If he denies the need to do such a thing, inform him that you will be taking care of that for him ASAP, as soon as possible. He may move for a discharge at that point because you're a little too dangerous or smart. The last thing that prosecutor wants is the IRS examining his files for the last 7 years because he makes money on every conviction, but he doesn't pay taxes on them as a rule. He usually only declares the salary he receives. Also, should you accidentally find yourself in a mental hospital, the psychiatrist who's assigned or
bring that bite
of filing the grand jury indictment.
I don't know why my shit be doing that. Hey, look, I don't think that was I don't know what happened with that. Fuck.
He technically represents the defendant until someone takes his place. He is counting on someone appearing in the case to defend against his complaint. If that doesn't happen, he is the responsible party and liable for all the cost paid for in the complaint or associated with the statute.
Bring that back. Bring that back.
To defend against
bring that shit
of filing the grand jury indictment.
Bring that shit back.
He had a chance verifying it. They don't ever mix them, so be careful you don't either. If the defendant has a public defender, this is good. When the prosecutor signs the complaint, verifying it, and its signature is notarized, he's taking on the liability that may follow in the event it is discovered the complaint is not valid. He is taking a chance, because at that point, he is the only attorney of record. He has filed a form of notice of appearance by filing the complaint of filing the grand jury indictment. He technically represents the defendant until someone takes his place. He is counting on someone appearing in the case to defend against his complaint. If that doesn't happen, he is the responsible party and liable for all the cost.
Let me pause this. Let me pause this and show something else. So I'm going to come back to that. For my folk who want to see that, man. Them folk, like, let me see that. I got y'all, man. Hold up, bro. That shit say 15 minutes. Alright. Yeah, about 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Alright. We're gonna bring that back, man. This. Yo. I need to show this. But first, yeah, I'm trying to give my folks some time to get back up in here, man. So you check this out. That was another one on peroxide. Oh yeah. I gotta try this peroxide thing out. Alright. Hold up. Man.
I'm going to show you something really interesting. to show you something really interesting, and it's how the new corporate banking cartel governments of the world rely on and depend on our stupidity in order for them to get their assumed consent to operate over and above us. It's like a system where we become trustees or servants or slaves of their foreign banking cartel corporation. And what they say is that we are voluntary slaves, or voluntary servitude they call it. And voluntary servitude is the agreement to act as a slave. So it's it's a system, because a lot of us say in this new corporate system they can't understand how they have become subject to all these draconian laws. Farmers losing their lands, manufacturing in Australia has been decimated, the fishing industries, and like I say, the footwear, the clothing, all industries in our country have been destroyed and are in the process of being destroyed through policy that is a destructive policy that really leaves our nation floundering on an international scale. Now, this is all sort of planned in the Agenda 21 and the Agenda 30 thing, But tonight I'm going to show you one of the dirty tricks that they have used and deceived us as people, nationals of our own country, and rendered us as citizens of a foreign corporation that is usually subject or registered to the United States Securities and Exchange Commission in Washington, D.C. So by becoming a citizen of the Commonwealth of Australia and the states such as State of Queensland, State of Victoria, State of New South Wales, etc., when we enter into citizenship of those states are registered corporations on the United States Securities and Exchange Commission in relation to the US Federal Reserve within Washington, D.C., which is the District of Columbia, which changes your standing, your legal standing and your political standing from being a national of Australia or a citizen from your own districts here in Australia to a citizen of a foreign district. And the reason how they do that is they just simply call the corporation or the company or the entity or the organisation Commonwealth of Australia. But of course, when you check, as you can see here, it is written in an all uppercase text, which is a hieroglyphic or Egyptian hieroglyphic text, and it is not English, not at all. So that's the first trick, by using a debased language, and which we've in past videos I've gone into this debased language when they're using it. But there's another really interesting trick that they use to get you to fall for this for their scam, their pyramid system. And look, they've got, in one way, they've got a point, because they've got approaching 7 billion people on this planet, which is 2018. And their story, or their reason for this, is that they need to control the masses through a military system, which means that when you're in the military, you don't have rights, you have a privilege, but you break the rules of that military ship, a military organisation or corporation, and you are subject to the penalties that are already put in place, which really means that you're not subject to a fair trial or justice. It is if the higher ranking officer says you did something wrong, then you have done something wrong according to them. The accusation, it's not an accusation, it's a charge. They've bypassed the accusing bit where you have the right to go to a court and defend it. They give you that, what it's justice is seen to be done, but in actual fact, once you've been charged, the accusation has been assumed already, and then you have to fight that charge. And to enter into that system, you have to agree to be the citizen of their ship, you see. And once you agree to that and hold that birth certificate of their ship or their corporation, their foreign corporation, that's called Commonwealth of Australia or State of Queensland or State of Victoria or whatever, once you hold that birthing certificate of their foreign District of Columbia, then they can say, well, you applied for it, so therefore you agreed to enter into the ship and leave your own country. So therefore they call it voluntary servitude, where you agreed to enter into their foreign military ship, even though they call it Commonwealth of Australia.
Or United States of America.
Latin. The full disclosure, people
or United States of America, right?
But
the same thing apply to us.
The full disclosure is in the grammar, because when you know your grammar, you can look at the company and know it's not reading what it's assumed to be read. Remember, that law is a presumption of law. The presumption, there's an old maxim that says the fact negates the presumption. It overrides or overrules the presumption. So the very minute a fact is recognised, then the presumption is no longer there.
You have to think about some of these things sometimes. Because a man is born, but he has the option of two births where he wants to dock his body through the dockmaster, which are the doctors who can, they can dock you into life and you're not dead until you've been docked out of life. But you have a choice of two births, the birth of the debtor and the birth of the creditor. That's your choice.
We never knew this.
Now, it starts with the birthing certificate. That's sort of where it all really begins. So when you get to 18 or whatever and you want to go and get a bank account and a driver license or anything, but usually it's a bank account. They say, well, you'll have to go and apply for a license. Sorry, you'll have to go and apply for a birthing certificate, birth certificate. So you say, yeah, okay, I'll go and do that. So you walk into the courthouse, which is really, these days, before we go on with this story, birthing certificates are now housed in Australia in the CBA building at 180 Ann Street. The CBA building is the Commonwealth Bank of Australia building. All the birthing certificates were taken out of the government printing office at 110 George Street, which sure is already one evil looking building, as you can see here.
Look at this.
Satanic.
Look at this shit.
The satanic.
This is where they was housing the birth certificates at. Come on, dog.
Building are telling you something.
Y'all just overlook this like this don't mean nothing.
The new building, it also.
Why would they house birth certificates?
A modern form of satanic symbolism.
Look.
That's the snake or the vine.
They moved them all to a bank, though.
On the building. And that comes from
that
the
makes
old
sense.
Roman god of Libor, which is the Roman god of wine, and the vineyards, which is the vines that creep through everything and attach themselves. A vine can't stand on its own legs. It has to be supported by something else. So back to our story. You walk into the court. Say, sir, you walk into the courthouse at the counter downstairs, wherever it is, and so I'd like to apply for a birth certificate. And I said, yes, by all means. We're going to need your name and your date of birth. And this is where it all starts. Say, what's your name? And you'll say, my name is John Henry Doe, which is really a Christian name and your surname attached as one name. That's what you will say. So they say, yes, no worries. Then you will say, they will ask you for your date of birth. So you will make another error and you will say, my date of birth is the date I was born. They say, yes, not a problem. So when you give full name, your surname or your last name, and you gave the date of birth that included
this is amazing.
Your date of born,
I'm finna play this
certificate.
I gotta play this every time.
And you will walk out with that.
I wish I could put this shit on loop.
The bank and say, look, got me
I wish I could put this video on loop and just leave my stream on 24/7.
That certificate.
I might figure out a way to do that.
Because the information on this certificate
They're gonna hate me for that.
gets this certificate.
Uh-oh. Say what now? You said what? What do you say? Hold up. That's why banks what? That's why banks need your surname, state birth certificates, and that's why banks need your surname, state birth certificate in order to access you or in order to access your Christian name credit account certificate. All right, let's see what he's talking about.
Now, when I went in,
Wait, what did he say before that even?
the information on this certificate gets this certificate.
Alright. You can? Oh, you're gonna help me figure out how to do it? You gonna
Now,
show me?
when I
You gonna show me? You're so sweet,
I went
son.
in,
You're so sweet, son. I appreciate that. I know you're gonna help me. Thank you. I'm finna have my shit running 24/7. You know what I'm saying? Put this shit on loop so the world can know. Man, if anything happened to me, y'all know who did it.
and applied for my birth certificate. I did the same thing. I walked in happy as everyone. Hello, how are you? To the girls at the court. And they said, yes, what can we do for you? And I said, I would like to apply for a birth certificate. And they said, well, we're going to need your name and your date of birth. I said, yeah, no worries. So they said, well, what's your name? And I gave my name. That is, on the birth certificate, the state birth certificate, it says here, in this case, this is William Vaughan Izard, if he gave his full name. But on the birth certificate, and on yours, and on everybody's birth certificate, the only name that exists on this is William Vaughan, which is John Henry, the Christian name only. It is no surname attached to that name there. The surname is attached to your father and your mother. They have surnames, but you don't.
Uh-oh.
So remember that. This is the evidence that your name is only, in this case, William Vaughan.
SpaghettiOs.
In my case, Romney Stewart. In the general trend, John Henry, not Doe. The John Henry name is there. So that's something that you've got to think about when you give your full name. Because if you give your full name as John Henry Doe, they will give you this. So I
Debtor's
gave
birth certificate.
my full name. Would you like my full name? I said, yeah. I said, yes. They said, yes, we want your full name. I said, my full name is exactly what's on the birth certificate here, Romney Stewart. I did not enter the John Henry Doe. I just entered the John Henry. So they didn't do anything. They just did. Have you got a date of birth? Now, it's very interesting because the word date is the key to this scam. Because the birth is the creation of an office, the birth of an office, or the birthing of a ship, the birthing of a corporate entity, the birthing of a corporation, an entity of some kind, an organisation. The date that is birthed, the date of registration of that, is the date of birth. So the word date refers to the date of the acknowledgement of the deed, and not the day the thing itself was created. So where you would have given your full name as John Henry Doe and your date of birth as the date you were born, I gave the Christian name and the date that it was registered up here. See that? That's the date of registration. That's the date that this certificate was stamped and entered into the court. On the certificate of birth, it has this information because it has in this box up the top here, name, which is the full name of the child, which is William Vaughan, the date he was born, on the 22nd of April in 1953. But down here it says the date of registration, which in this case it was 8th of May 1953. So it was around a month after, a little over 1 month after, where this certificate, in his case, they created the proper certificate of birth. So on your birth certificate, your state birth certificate, it provides the information of your name, which is your full name, which is only your Christian name. It provides the date you were born, but it also provides the date of registration. The date of registration is the date of birth. Now remember, I'm the tin foil hat. I was the crazy one. I was the crazy one. Yet, legally and lawfully, all this information is here in full disclosure. They haven't hidden it. They haven't hidden anything. So, back to the court, I gave the date of birth as the registration date. They said, yep, no worries. Just got on the phone, we'll just ring the births, deaths and marriages, which instead of being at 110 George Street, it has changed to 180 Ann Street, Brisbane City. In the city, not Brisbane, but Brisbane City. And after about 7 seconds, she said, yes, sir, we have found your birth certificate. I said, oh, thank you very much. They said, well, would you like us to send it to you, to your ad address? I said, no.
What that shit said at the bottom?
7 seconds. She said, yes, sir, we have found your birth certificate. I said, oh, thank you very much.
Look, found the shit. Look, it says, the administration heart of the Queen. What? Man, that shit very on my shit.
I said, well, would you like us?
The administration heart of the Queen ships. Or now, what? The administration heart of the Queen's ships are now administrative corporations. The administrative heart of the Queen's ships are now administrative corporations.
To send it to you, to your ad address. I said, no. I said, you send it to the court. And I want nothing back, as Stan's still be there as the Registrar General. He still is at 2018. And he got on the phone and he said, what would you like? And I said, I'd like you to send the birth certificate to the court and I will collect it over the counter. I said, yeah, that sounds fine. Gave it back to the girls. I said, yeah, no worries. So after about a week and a half, 2 weeks, the girls rang me up from the court and said, your birth certificate has arrived at the court. I said, thank you very much, I'll come in and get it. So that afternoon, I came into the court, walked into the court, and I had it still enclosed inside an envelope, a ledger. The envelope with the window on it, you know, the ones you get the bills in the mail. And I said, and it was addressed to the court. I said, I can't open this is addressed to the court. I would be violating section 85Q and 85N, I think it is, of the Crimes Act 1914, which is a 10-year imprisonment for interfering with another person's mail. So I said, this is addressed to you. You can only open this. I can't do that. So they said, oh, okay, well, do you mind if we open it? I said, no, you open it. So they opened it. And then they pulled out, not this, they pulled out that. And even the girls at the court said to me, what's that? I said, that's a birth certificate. That's the certificate of birth that you get when you know your name and your date of birth. If you don't know your name and your date of birth, they will make you up a birth certificate and treat you as a debtor of their estate. But when you apply for this one, you become the creditor of their bank, their state. I mean, it used to be the government, but because Australia doesn't have a government anywhere, the banking system has taken over. The Rothschilds owns the US Federal Reserve and the Australian Federal Reserve, Federal Reserve of Australia. That one bank owns all of them. So that one bank has now become the government of all of the registered companies registered with the US SEC, which would even include like Britain as well, Australia, New Zealand, probably in the United States. They've all been put as companies with the United States Federal Reserve Bank. And that is so that the whole world can use that currency of that bank. That's like on the internet. I mean, it's got its good points, because you can now world trade with a currency, even though that the Australian currency and the US dollar and the euro, they're different currencies, or have different values, but they all interlock in through the United States Federal Reserve Bank. That's where they're eventually going to try and bring in a one world currency. But that currency, in the Australian Constitution, it says that only the government has the right to coin the money. But this money has been coined or created by the US Federal Reserve, which is a foreign deity, a foreign account, a foreign nation. But by joining that nation, that's getting into an act of treason or treachery against our own nation. But we didn't know that, because they called the Queensland Queensland government, or the Queensland government, or the state of Queensland, when they registered that corporate name, State of Queensland and Queensland Treasury Corporation, and in Australia's case, the Commonwealth of Australia, when they registered that name as a company name with the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, that did not mean Commonwealth of Australia. And because they wrote that that text in an all uppercase hieroglyphic illustrative text, which is pictures and patterns, it is not a descriptive text. It's not proper English. It's not the common language. It's a foreign language. Because they wrote the Commonwealth of Australia in a foreign language, it did not read the Commonwealth of Australia.
But see, we think these the same though. We think this is the same, as we think private and public are the same, probably. We don't even realize there's a difference between this shit.
So, in my case, when I held this certificate of birth instead of this, then it changed my political stand from being in the state of the plebs or the plebeians, which is the pagans, which are the debtors or the trustees of the bank. I became the beneficiary or the patrician of the bank. And what happens when the Prime Minister swears his oath to serve the people of the nation and not the persons, then what he's saying is he serves these people, which is the creditors of the bank. But the thing is, if the bank, the Commonwealth of Australia Bank, or the US Federal Reserve, can fool everybody into holding this certificate as a trustee of the bank and not as a creditor, but as the debtor of the bank, then that places the bank itself, if these people aren't here, then that places the bank as the one being protected by the state and being defended by the armies. The armies, the courts, the government are defending the bank. They are really defending the creditors in the bank. But to be the creditor, you must know how to get the certificate, the certification, the proof, the evidence that you are the creditor and not the debtor. Now, when you are in a court and the magistrate sings out, is John Henry Doe in the courtroom, he sings that name out because that's not your name, that's his name. And what he's waiting for is someone to walk in and claim his name, to believe that it's your name. And of course, those people believe their name is John Henry Doe instead of just John Henry, which is the only evidence. There's no evidence of you being John Henry Doe. But on the certificate of birth, strangely enough, the full name, John Henry Doe, or in this case, William Vaughan Izard, does exist in the margin of the certificate of birth. But what it says here that my full name, dead, which is a cross, dead Christian name of child, is Romilly Stewart, not Romilly Stewart and the surname. It's just Romilly Stewart. That's the given name. In this case, it would be William Vaughan. But in the margin is a very interesting piece of data. It says in here that I, David John, Registrar General, do hereby certify that this is a true photographic copy of a certificate of birth for John Henry Doe, the full name here, written as a proper noun, not as all uppercase text, but as a proper person, in my custody at the Registry of Births, Deaths and Marriages, and Brisbane, and I further certify that I have been declared an approved person in terms of section 105 of the Evidence Act 1977 to 1990. This is the proof that that's his name. Now, when you claim his name, we may be able to use that name as the creditor. But when the magistrate sings out your name, is John Henry Doe in there, he sings out his name, he's singing out this name because he owns it and he needs someone to act as a debtor. Because if you don't walk in and claim that name, then the magistrate has got to pay the debts because he owns John Henry Doe. It's a really dirty trick. And the thing is, it's dangerous for the bank, because if the people start to work this out, as you can see, every debt, all the money that the bank has lent out, may have to pay you back for your house loans, for everything that you've paid for the bank. That may have to be returned. And that's dangerous stuff. You can see why I've gone through so much hassle and threats and everything when I went to the police and said, we've got a problem here. We've got, there's something going wrong, but we've lost our real government of our country because our birth certificates are no longer in the printing office, the government printing office. They're in another bank, the Commonwealth of Australia Bank, which is registered with the United States Securities Exchange, and it is certainly not registered with the Queen or Britain. Or does the Queen own the District of Columbia? I don't know. I mean,
No.
we can go further with that.
No, she does not.
But that's what's happened. I hold this certificate, and because it is a political stand, these are two poles. This is a house or an office of the debtor, the office of administration, and this is the office of the creditor. So the birth relates to when this office was created. The name of the person that's in there is simply the beneficiary. We are either the beneficiary of the house of the creditor, or if we remain in the surname, holding the surname of the birth certificate, we still become the beneficiary, but we become the beneficiary of a debtor state. So you're still nothing's changed inside, but it's just that if you're the beneficiary of an office of a debtor, then that office is going to completely always be empty because it's going over to pay the creditors. So if you are in the office of the debtors, then you will be forever paying the debts of that state. If you are in the office of the creditors, then your debts are constantly being paid by the office of the debtors.
Yeah, it's laughable for damn sure. But remember, this is just entertainment only, like the Terminator movie. Just fiction. This shit real as hell. Look, they got my boy going through obstacles. Ugh. Hey, they could run this through the American Ninja Warrior. Look, get
That's why.
the fuck out of here.
When you walk into a courthouse to apply for your birth certificate, that's the one they need you to apply for. That's why the society, they advertise your birthday and celebrate your birthday, because they're celebrating the day that you entered into the birth of the debtors. They created this birth on the same day you were born.
Hey, now I'm finna go grab my birth certificate, right? I'm sure this birth certificate right here is old, probably. I think he said he applied for this when he was 18 years old. Oh no, he said he applied for this when he was 18 years old, I think. I don't know. But yeah, he said he applied for this when he was 18 years old. This is the one, I guess, his original joint. But look, I don't have my original. So I got a copy from like that shit from the 2000s. You know what I'm saying? From like maybe 10 years ago or something. But I'm sure they've gotten more slick and conniving with the way that they present these tools, and that maybe on my birth certificate it might not have just my name, my name and middle name. The surname might be right on the top. You know what I'm saying? Name of child, first, middle, and last. You know what I'm saying? I wonder if it's going to have a break in between. I'm finna go get it and see. But I'm imagining they got their trickery, because I should play some information on, I guess you could call it the evolution, devolution. I like to call it the devolution of the Social Security card. Because if you look at the old Social Security cards, they said employee on it. You know what I'm saying? And they took that employee, where you used to sign at, as a matter of fact, where you used to sign at, and I could play a video on it, I probably will, where you used to sign at back in the day. Like, they done changed the look of the Social Security card so many times over the years, and they just been removing stuff as time go on. And I would imagine they did the same thing with these birth certificates and stuff. As I've seen and heard about old birth certificates, what was different about them old birth certificates? What was it? What was I gonna say? I can't even remember right now. To come back to me, but yeah.
Because on the day you were born, they quickly tied this tag to your surname.
Yeah, they did. They the way they explain stuff on the birth certificate ain't the same either. Like the title for your parents and stuff like that. Like on older birth certificates and shit. It said like not witness, but that the mother was acting as, was it a trustee? I might have to pull the information up on it. But yeah, it used to have different names for them signature spots.
John Henry Doe, the Doe bit, they tied to your heel or to your toe, and they created the office of the debtor first. Now, normally you will stay in the office of the debtors, which is normal, until you reach the age of 21, which is the age of majority. And at the age of majority, you have the right to come back to being a Christian, a true court Christian, not a quasi-Christian, but a true court Christian, or the patrician. You have that right at the age of 21. Or you have, if you don't come back to being to Christ, or in the Christian trust, or in the creditor trust, and you remain with the house of the debtors, then you become a thing called an adulterer, or they also call them adults, which is adult. So that means that's a person that no longer believes in Christ, in the creditor.
I'm not so sure that this is representing Christ though, because both of these are like still in the same realm of, it just seemed like this is a better position to be in, so that your debts are covered under whatever they got going, so that these folk paying for you just on the side of the slave owner on this side instead of being a slave. But this ain't no Christ right here. How you Christ on this side when you know that these folks over here is being slaves and paying for everything you doing and all that? That's out. This is not no Christ side. You can X that out of there. This is just a good side to be on compared to this side. But damn both of these sides though. They should not even be having control over the living man and woman in the first place. Should nobody be having authority over none of that? Should nobody be nobody's slave?
That's a pagan, which really means pay again. So what's happening is
Pagan, pay again.
for all your debts again. But the thing is, when you're in here, because you are the one that owns the birthright to the land that you were born on. You own the land. So like those farmers are getting kicked off the land. How can a farmer get kicked off the land when we as Australians own the land? And that's really easy. They hold this certificate here, which is the evidence that the court needs and the bank needs to prove that you are not the holder of land of Australia. You are in the office of the creditor of a company in the District of Columbia.
Yeah.
And then that's why they call you a resident, which is someone that resides on the land. The word resident means someone that lives on land they don't own.
Huh.
So you've got to be careful of all these things. Same with the traditional blackfellas from
We
this
don't know the word.
land,
We don't know
this
the
country.
meaning. We don't know the language. We don't know the meanings of the words. Ain't none of us knew resident meant you was residing on land that wasn't yours. You know what I'm saying? You still a resident on the house you own. Matter of fact, I'm about to play something on that next. You cannot own land or property here. When you own this office right here, when you in the seat of this office right here, you can't own nothing. Nada. Nothing, bruh. Talking about you own your house. I was trying to tell Whip that. Some when your house paid for and all that, when your house is paid off, and now you own it free and clear. No, you don't. You still have to pay rent on that every year. And don't pay it. Don't pay them taxes and see what happens. See if you own it. See if it's yours and shit.
They call themselves the traditional
Become the
owners,
house
but they've got to
shit.
watch what that word means. Because the word traditional means one who has given or sold his land, given away or sold his land. So sometimes it's not about, there's a bit more to this than meets the eye. It's also the birthright of not just the original blackfella tribes that were on the on this land. It's people like me and 3 or 4 generations of my history that also now have a birthright to Australia. This is my only country. I love Australia just as much as anybody, and I have a birthright here. So that means that I have an obligation, just like the original blackfella tribes. We are and defend this country. But the thing is, this attack has been a silent attack, not only just on the white tribe when the right administration came here. This is also an attack on the white birthright, the white people that have been birthed on this country as well. And what these foreign banks, these Vatican-owned banks are doing is they are usurping this thing over the birthright, the people that have been born on this country. And they use our birthright, our ownership of the mineral and the energy wealth of Australia. They use that ownership through this certificate as the security to make their money with. When they produce their dollars, their Federal Reserve notes that we use and think is money, it's not. That money is being printed off this certificate. And what happens is, this is the real certificate. This is you. This is the birthright. This is what gives the legal title to the bank. This gives you the equitable title. So the minute that they can remove you from here and go put you over into the debtor's office, then that makes the bank then holding the equity, because the true equitable holder that is not there. He's gone over into the debtors, but he doesn't know he's there. He thinks he's a creditor. He thinks he's the real thing. But the very birthing certificates themselves, when you just get in and read them and look closely at what's happening with them, the full disclosure is actually on these certificates. On this one too. And the real full disclosure is that both of these certificates are fraud. They are banking frauds.
See,
but
that's what I said.
do we have to get rid of it yet?
I told you
if
they
the
was
bank
both
is doing all
frauds.
the right things and we become the creditors of the bank, well then the bank is doing all the work for us. The foreign United States Federal Reserve works for us, just like our prime ministers say when they sign their oath, when they go into the Governor General's office and swear their oath. They swear an oath to serve the people. That's who they serve. But if these people are over here then they are actually serving the bank. It comes from, there's the equitable title. This is the evidence that we've granted it to the bank as the administrator. The administrator then grants it back to us because we walk into the court, we don't know who we are. And name and date of birth, yeah, John Henry Doe and date born. Yeah, come in, Spinner. And thank you. Here's a nice new shiny birth certificate. Look at this, got nice fadey looking stuff on it. How's that? And you think, oh, great. And you can go down to the bank now and you can borrow money as long as you pay it back, because you have to pay it back to yourself. But if you're not here, you still remain there. When you pay, you take the money. As you're paying it back to the bank takes your money and it does pay it back to you over here. But when you finally die and you didn't ever come back here to claim your money, then all that money that you've paid back, that they've taken from your account, remains with the US Federal Reserve, which is the Rothschild dynasty. And that's probably a little bit why they have so much wealth. Something like 9/10 of the money in the world belongs to them. I've heard these stories, which is an amazing amount of wealth. But it's not that they've made the wealth or anything, they've just simply deceived. And, you know, it's not technically stolen. But if they've set up a society that doesn't allow you to ever know the difference between, or the tricks on how they've done this, if you don't know the art of conversion, which is converting you from the creditor of a bank into a debtor of the bank, by letting you become an account holder of the bank, which is a trustee. If you don't know these things, and I've made sure that in the schools, the state schools and everything, that you don't have the ability to know this, then you will always grow up in.
What's good, bro? I see you, DJ. Appreciate you stopping through, bro. I heard a beat on the track you and said and them got. I can't remember the name of the song. I can't even remember how that shit go right now, but that shit was right though. That shit was ready though. I was fucking with that shit, nigga. Y'all need to send me that shit to my email. I'm gonna have Sid to send me that shit. But yeah, y'all niggas keep up the good work. Have you seen some of this video? You just walking in, you just coming in? Man, you need to go back and watch this stream. No doubt, bro. Hey, this stream right here, man, you need to see this if you missed it. For real. No doubt, bro. You already know. Much love to you too, man. To the family. Happy New Year to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Happy holidays and everything. Hope all y'all biggest dreams come true in this new year to come. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Just make sure you check out this video. I wouldn't even keep saying it to you if it wasn't that important. If I didn't think it was that important that you could take something away from it.
The world of the debtors, and you will never know anything else. You will never know that this other certificate exists. And to get it, how easy is it to get it? If you know your name and your date of birth, that's all you do. Name, John Henry, not John Henry Doe. Date of birth, the date of registration, or down here, the registration date, which is that date up there, which is the date of registration. So that's the fundamental, that's where the guts of this, you could almost call it a crime, but the thing is, they call it voluntary because you volunteered after you turned 21. You didn't come over here. And because it's a biblical trust, the system exists in the Bible. So they sort of say to us, they call us pagans, and well, and that's the other reason why there is a Bible sitting in the court, is to remind us that the pagans are going to be punished in there. It's satanic in all ways.
Well, what do you mean? Why are you pointing at this? The pagans going to be punished. It's not the slaves' fault that they was tricked into this. It's not them. It's not these people. If anything, it's these people over here that's taking advantage of these people. And if anything, it's not neither one of these necessarily. It's the people that's up here that created this whole system and this whole paradigm for us to live up under. This trickery. This video is about We didn't know that it's 2 birth certificates, bro. One is for the office of a debtor, to where you paying the debts of this country and all that. Or this company, excuse me, not country, the debts of this company. And the other one is when you in the office of a creditor and all your debts are paid for. Like your house note, your car note, and any other expenses that you incur. Because you can probably go to the grocery store and write them a promissory note too that they can cash out on. We just don't know about it. And the Rothschilds and whoever own us all and whoever is to collect all this money that he talking about don't want none of us to know about that either. Why would they want you to? Because this go back to probably what I was doing when I you know what? That's probably exactly what this is. Damn, I think I just made another connection between this shit. I think I wasn't able to tap into that money when I paid my bills with my social security number or something. Maybe because I hold this seat and I use this name with the surname on it and everything. Maybe if I go back and try and pay my bills and use this name, and it might go through or something. Yeah, damn. I know, bro. That's what I'm saying. Who the fuck ever known this? You know what I'm saying? So, this the fictitious joint. Well, both of them fictitious. Anyway, like I said, but this still the better seat to hold. At least your stuff is paid for. You still a slave under the crown, though. Either way it go, until you can come from up under being a slave altogether, though, I believe, with the filing of the UCC, what that joint is, UCC 1. But in any case, this is some bullshit. As a staff record label and as a motherfucking crew, fuck these motherfuckers coming with this bullshit. But at the same time, let's get on this side. So, I'm about to go see if this is possible. Now, I have to contact the Florida Department of Health and Vital Statistics to get a copy of this. I'm going to call them and try and see if I can get this from them. He said he went to the courthouse and applied for this right here. I would imagine in his own hometown, though. I'm in a whole nother state. Yeah, I got to learn about this. Yeah, we all do. We all should. You know what I'm saying? What's more important than this, what I just said? You know what I'm saying? What's more important than this? Besides your family, you know what I'm saying? And if they more important than this, then this will probably mean a lot to you and want to get them in a better position. What's more important than this? Than if God really exists? Than if the world is flat? Than the real shit? Than what everybody is focused on? But I understand we all focused on trying to make the best life out of this situation as we know it to be, because we don't really know nothing else. But we need to be realizing and finding out that there is something else and that is more to this. And we need to be getting to the real nitty gritty of this shit. I know when I start speaking that real shit, it just, you know what I'm saying? They have to get the hell from around here. I know how it go. But for those that still hear and got ears to hear, everybody's ears can't hear it. But if yours can, get right. You know what I'm saying? You're welcome. Praise God.
Bible is the manual to Babylon. It's a Babylonian manual. So like a car manual or manual for your mower or your motorbike, you got to read the manual to make sure that you do everything right, to put the right oils in your engine and all this, in order not to void warranty. Well, the same thing with the Bible. It's a manual, and if you don't operate within the terms and conditions of that manual, you'll wind up in the pagan, the house of the pagans, the house of the plebs, the plebeians, the debtors, and you will never become a creditor.
And that don't mean be in the Bible as That don't
will
mean
remain
following the
that.
Bible as what these folk trying to teach it mean though, in the twisted, demented way that they done twisted it up. It mean rocking with the Bible in its true essence and what it was and what the story is really meant to help your ass in that way, not in the downfall aspects that the Bible got in it, because it's got those in it. You got to be able to, you know what I'm saying, discern.
As pagans. And so they blame us for this, for our ignorance. But what happens if you watch too much television and you watch too much football and you're distracted by the really great life
I told you.
that's been...
They all in Jay Hardy stream right now, mesmerized by the football game. You know what I'm saying? We be acting like that shit so entertaining. Like all into it, like that team is really yours, like it's really ours. Like we really got something invested in it. You know I am, Snoop. Thank you. Thanks for the encouragement and the esteem building words. Thank you. But yeah, they all up in there watching that, okay? Getting all excited when your team is up, getting all down when your team is down. Right? Your emotions and your energy is all up and down and all over the place. Just by design. That shit meant to be like that. They harnessed in the energy from that. This is an energy extraction matrix, whether y'all know it or not. And they doing that by design. That's the new gladiator shit right there, football. They got all them folks up in there circulating that energy around in that dome. Up and down, back and forth, you know what I'm saying? They don't want this real shit. They don't want this real shit, Snoop. They want football. I don't even think they really want football. It's more comfortable to watch the game and drink a beer than to come in here and face this shit that I'm playing.
Set up for the pagans and the plebeians from the Roman days, where they had the Colosseums and everyone used to go there and watch all the entertainment. On those nights, that's when they used to pass many laws that even gave you a harder time. You look at Australia now. I mean, you blink and they've got a fine for you.
That's right. That's
got
exactly
that many
right.
fines that you're a criminal, but you just walk out the door and you're probably a criminal because they just do this.
Look, totally invested in emotion. Just totally got your whole emotions invested in that whack shit that don't even bring you no dollars. It don't really even enrich your life. It only brings you down. Football ain't making nobody a better person. If anything, it's just taken from you. You know what I'm saying? It's taken from you. Your money for the paraphernalia, your time. Time is the most valuable thing we got. Not gonna lie, that's me too. See, hey, but bro, look. Shit. Even play the game for school. Yeah, but you know what? It's meant for it to be like that though, bro. I ain't coming down on you. Cause man, you know I just sent trap all my damn Green Bay shit paraphernalia. I had cheese heads. I had some raw shit. You know what I'm saying? Some fly cheese head shit. I had a little yard flag shit that light up, all type of shit, bro. I used to be into that shit too. But it's when you find out better, you know what I'm saying, you do better. You know what I'm saying? How dare I come across that knowledge and information and just turn my back on it and say, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? What I'm trying to do over here is more important when I know it's not. I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't really trying to be involved in none of these things. I just pointed out football, right? But football ain't the only thing. You know what I'm saying? Movies, TV shows, you know, them series, Facebook, Instagram, video games. Yeah, all sports, by the way. Thank you, Snoop. That's what I'm saying. All this shit, you know what I'm saying? It's just a bunch of shit to distract everybody. If you ain't into one thing, you know, every day ain't gonna captivate everybody's attention with football, even though they got a lot of them. But some people ain't into that. They gotta have Dragon Ball Z or something. You know what I'm saying? To get Rufio and them attention. They ain't no one think about no football. You know what I'm saying? But you need something for these other folks to be distracted by. Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Instagram. Pornography. Whatever. Anything and every fucking thing. Just make sure they thinking about anything but what they need to be thinking about. That's the point. And that's why I'm not trying to be thinking about none of them other things that they trying to be distracting me with. Besides, what's really going on here on the earth? Why we here? Is this shit flat around? Are they lying about that shit? Why are they lying about it? I think I done figure out why. They trying to hide God. And I ain't even no Bible thumper, but it's bigger than the Bible. Sports used to be for kids. Pro sports is a scam. Yeah, that shit's scamming like hell. Got all these folk acting like they invested. They whole house decorated with all this shit. They acting like this they team for real. They don't even got no family members playing on the team. You know what I'm saying? They just buying into this whole bullshit. A whole East Coast, West Coast battle. Everybody got a rep where they from so motherfucking bad. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit means something. When the shit is the same everywhere. Poor people, poverty, you know, same shit going on in every city, but everybody think they city better and all this shit. You know what I mean? Everybody got to rep their side. Ain't no sides around this motherfucker. We all on earth. We all earthlings. So what, you live over there and I live over here? We all still on earth, fool. We all Americans. Talking about where I'm at and where you at. People so lame, man, and so divided because they just shallow-minded and just chattel and sheeple. It's like they fit the criteria for being a grass eater that just, you know what I'm saying, ain't talking about nothing. And when they ain't really talking about nothing worthwhile, that shit equate to this. Bad. 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 Where's the grass? You feel me? Not a personal attack. In Europe, the same thing. Yeah, ain't none of this shit a personal attack. So true. I be saying the same thing. Yeah, man, look, people be thinking what I'm saying. If they fit in the shit sometimes, I be talking about somebody else. But if it fit them, they be getting mad too, thinking I'm talking about them. Some niggas stopped talking to me. And I know why. Because they thought I was talking about them when I said what I said, which I wasn't. I'm actually like the person. I thought we was cool, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mad at them that they be doing this shit that's bringing them down. But I'm not supposed to speak on it because you going to get in your feelings because I'm saying something about your downfall and how it's not good for you and how you need to stop doing that and change. A real friend will tell you that. What the fuck you think this is? Somebody that don't really care or give a damn about your ass ain't gonna say shit. They like, well, let you live your life how you want to live it. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Oh, well, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. You should be happy somebody motherfucking trying to help your ass elevate. But, of course, people ain't seeing it that way. They think somebody trying to bring their ass down in a personal attack. Just like Rufio think I be attacking him when I be trying to help his ass. But these people not childs of God, yo. Everybody ain't a child of God. Everybody not trying to be a good person. You got, just like you got people that's childs of God, you got childs of devil. Yes, sir, DJ. You know what I'm saying? Real recognize real, though. You know what I'm saying? So I don't be tripping off none of that. I'm not on here looking for friends, contrary to what these folk trying to make it seem like I am. I'm here to uplift others. You know what I'm saying? That's it. It ain't about really making no friends. I'm up out of here. My name on PlayStation now is out of here. I need to, you know what I'm saying? Y'all, you ain't got to call me Gaz no more. You can just call me out of here. Out of there. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Everybody trying to paint this picture of who Gas is and all this right here like they got me pegged. These fools don't know me. They got it so far twisted and so far wrong. They on the opposite end of the spectrum. But yeah, man, I'm trying to bring awareness to the people that care about it, and kind of put something in the eyes of people that can't see it for themselves, or let somebody hear something or see something that they ain't really wasn't on, and it might spark something in a light bulb or plant a seed in somebody's head that can benefit them in a way. Who else is trying to do that? If they not trying to do that, I'm not even interested in really what the fuck they talking about no more. And like I said, everybody ain't got to be on here trying to uplift others and preach and be trying to give nobody no knowledge. Maybe you don't have that much knowledge to give, but all of us got some knowledge to give and can help one another. But you know what? Still here to connect. That's all. That's right. You know what I'm saying? On the good vibe. Not none of this treachery and shit be going on. Motherfuckers be pulling me down, pulling me into their bullshit. And then I just be in there verbally beating their ass. You know what I'm saying? Wasting my energy. I'm done with that. But what I was gonna say, man? I forgot what I was about to say. Oh, you don't gotta be in your stream trying to like do all that. The least you can do, this the bottom line minimum I'm saying people can be doing though, is putting out a positive vibration. At least being on a good vibe. You know what I'm saying? At least you ain't gotta be in your stream trying to tear others down and shit. And trying to, you know what I'm saying, like pump negativity and shit. If I catch your fuck ass pumping negativity, you know what it is. That's the problem I have with these streamers. That's the problem I got with these niggas, man. That negativity they be on. And if I catch your ass, I'm busting your motherfucking head every time. You know what I'm saying? Until you get on the good foot around this bitch. Because positivity always trying to shut negativity down. I played that in my stream one time when what's his name ran up in that church talking about EO and all that, and causing a disruption in them people little peaceful event where they was trying to have a positive thing going on. He ran up in there with that negativity, and that old man ran up on his ass like in the first 60 seconds with them dukes up on his ass. Watching some streams stress me out. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about, Snoop. Stress out streams and all that. You know what I mean? Like, that's a child of devil. That ain't no child of God doing that. That's a child of devil. And you know what? I'm here to kick they ass every time. I'm trying to tone down the cussing, because kick they motherfucking ass though. You know what I'm saying? That's why you be seeing me typing. I turn up when I start typing because I start talking like that. This is how I be thinking. Kick your motherfucking ass. That's how I be typing it. That's the mode I be in when I be on their ass. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't stand it though. And I'm seeing more and more what it is now. I'm just sick of these people's negativity and shit. Especially towards me. That's when you really fucking up, when you bringing it towards me. I'm trying to protect others from your negativity already. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't like bullies. I'm not a bully. I don't like niggas tried to bully me when I was a kid. Man, one time when I was a kid, when I lived in Detroit, I was like in the 7th grade. Niggas caught me in the gym. Now look, when I moved to Detroit, I was like around 6th, 7th grade. So that let you know I was like 11, 12 years old, something like that. As soon as I get in there, link up. One of the niggas tell me like, yeah, this like, throw this up. You feel me? They gonna put me on the gang shit. Throw this up. There's no way they relaxed after that stream. You know what I mean? For real. For real. But they be too invested in this shit. They think about this shit morning, noon, and night. I know I be on these folk mind. This shit crazy. It should not even be like that. I'm constantly on these people's minds. And it's not even in a positive light. And not by my own doing. I don't know what the fuck them folks going through. To me, it seems like it's jealousy and envy or something, and hatred or something. I don't know, man. They just don't seem like childs of God to me. But in any case, they like false prophets. They running around with their Bible talking about how holy they is, but they real true essence and who they truly about is not about that. That's not the message they really trying to pump out. That's just the message they run to when they want to feel good or they want to try and use that shit to make them look good. But anytime they other than that, they on some other shit. You know what I'm saying? That don't have that's on some worldly shit. That's on some bring you down type vibe shit. That shit ain't got nothing about uplifting nobody, or not including themselves. So what I was saying though, I don't know. I'm gonna move forward on this video, but at least you can be doing is putting out a good vibe though. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta be teaching nobody nothing. But all that old negativity, let me bring you down type shit and bringing everybody down with this vibration you pumping out on your stream, that shit ain't cool, man.
State of origin night. They hold, government in Queensland holds parliament on that night. So while all of Queensland's down there yahooing and drinking up over the state of origin, they passed something like 300 or 400 new laws. Well, the plebeians, the plebs, out watching football, eating pies and drinking beer. Not saying that's a bad life. I quite enjoy that myself. And even though I hold this, I'll still enjoy a beer. I'm still Aussie, you know. But being an Aussie,
Positivity try and shut negativity down. That's what I was saying. People want to hear what they want to hear. Some people don't want to hear or even care about this, but all we can do is pray for them, you know. You saying a lot right there, my brother. That's the truth what you saying. That's the truth what you saying. It ain't everybody, like I said, it ain't for everybody. You know what I mean? It ain't. Now might not be the time for them at the moment. Maybe they'll come around in however long it take them. You know what I'm saying? But that's fine and dandy. But I'm just saying, they can just get the fuck out of here trying to be a heathen along the way and trying to bring others down, though. Because I'm here to put my foot off in the demon's ass. That's all I'm saying. And break it off up in that motherfucker. And just grow another one back. Motherfucker. You feel me? But what I was going to say was, usually when it's too late when they want to come around and shit, right? Yeah, everybody come hollering God's name when they about to die, right? Ain't nobody thinking about God and all that really until they about to check up out of here. Then it's, oh, you feel me? God save me. You know what I'm saying? You start calling on God. I know I do. And I done had my times when I wasn't really keen on about thinking about, you know, coming up through my journeys where I was on some atheist shit. Like, do God even exist? You feel me? Like, ain't no God type shit. Like, I done been there along the journey. And I believe time then came, and while I was along that journey when something happened, I'm like, oh, God, help me. You feel me? Nigga, thought it wasn't no God, nigga. You know what I mean? All that. The nigga in that bit with that kidney stone. You know what I'm saying? Hollering and screaming and hollering in that bit. Like, God, please help me. But, positivity always constantly trying to shut negativity down, right? It's a constant battle, right? So like I was saying, when old boy tried to run up in that church with that negativity, and Pops ran up with the fisticuffs on his ass, like with the dukes up, ready to box his shit up. And they went on, tossed this dumb ass up out of the church and kept the service going and probably spoke on the devil. You know what I'm saying? Look how the devil just tried to do that, but got shut down because it was too much positivity around. And see, this is what happened when I go in Jay Hardy stream. Too much negativity around for the positive. Them niggas go to jumping me. I don't even say nothing wrong. Just as my presence is felt. Most of the time, I don't even attack dude when I go in there. I just be in there, you know what I'm saying? I might be saying something to somebody else in the comment section. He see it, and oh man, all hell break loose. Here come the trolls. Here come everybody who want to be down so bad. These people want to feel important, like Black Galt. These niggas want to be down. They want to be so cool. They want somebody to shout them out. They attacking me at all costs. Any chance they can get. just spreading lies and bullshit about my name, just slandering my name. I should be able to sue y'all niggas and make y'all pay for them lies and slanders and shit y'all be putting out. As soon as that shit stopping me from making some money, I'm gonna sue your motherfucking ass if I can. Because that's the only way of slander if it fuck up your money situation, is how you can sue somebody. Just defamation of character, period. I don't think that gets you no money. It's got to cause you some type of monetary loss or affect you in some type of way. But I ain't worried about none of that, really, man. I ain't finna sue y'all little niggas. I'm just talking. I should, though, but I ain't finna do it. I'm out of here. Exodus 2019, you feel me? I got work to do. I got shit to do. It's not, y'all can't stop this no way, man. I got shit to do. Like, make my, it's what his viewers like. That's right. That's right. That's exactly what his viewers like. That's why they in there. And it be so much negativity in that realm that, you know what I'm saying? It really just toss any godly thing out. Because let somebody come in there and start talking about, why you never seen Jay Hardy claim to be such a Christian, right? I ain't never seen him like really reading nothing out the Bible. I never seen him really referencing the Bible besides just like trying to get clout off the shit, right? I never seen nobody go in Jay Hardy's stream and talk about Jesus and God as a Christian. None of his family, none of his friends. How come God and Jesus and God ain't never part of nothing unless it's like, I'm a God-fearing man, and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. And my gun right over there on top of the Bible. I'll pop your ass in the name of Jesus. Matter of fact, fuck y'all. Who wants some problems? Who ready to whoop-de-whoop around this bitch? You know what I'm saying? Like, the shit just be fucked up right after that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish your ass to die right now, Gas. You think I would feel sad at all if somebody told me you got damn in a car accident and died tonight? I would be happy and what? Proposing a toast. Like, who even what? But this is what these folk like. This is y'all savior. A person whose savior say some stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? What type of person are you? If that's the type of person you look up to, that's talking like that. You a heathen and a demon, your motherfucking self. A lot of white dudes watching him make a fool of himself. That's right. I done told him that. I know what's up with Hardy Stream. This nigga got an inside view to the damn ghetto. Of course it's hella views and shit going on. You doing all type of fuck shit and talking shit. Hell yeah, they tuning in around this bitch to see an inside stream of a project apartment. Who the fuck ain't tuning in? Looking at this nigga shuck and jive and Sambo on the screen. It's the most entertaining thing on motherfucking YouTube. No wonder they sent this nigga the check. Drama sells. Sex sells. Drama sells. Look, the good old Christian done tapped into all that. Good old Christian, his stream ain't nothing about no motherfucking Christianity. Definitely ain't setting no type of example. If Hardy is an example of a good Christian, stop playing with me. That mean you running everybody away from Christianity. If they was even thinking about, if they see you hollering about you a Christian. And look at this. Why I never see no Christians in this man's stream talking about God. And even trying to eat. I never even seen a comment from nobody in there to say anything about praise God, in the name of Jesus, let's have a prayer. You know what I'm saying? Have Hardy ever prayed on his stream? I've prayed on my stream, and I ain't been streaming as many years as he did. I would hope that he have all these years. You should have been praying 1,000,000 times over. You claim you such a good Christian. What Christian ain't praying? How many times you seen Hardy get down on his knees and pray on his stream to Jesus? Or pray with the stream. Like, come on, stream, let's do a prayer. And get down on his knees over there at his little recliner, you know, at his throne, right? And get down on his knees and you know what I'm saying, right there on camera and say a prayer out loud for the stream and for the, you know what I'm saying, or anything like this of this essence and kind. Delusional much. Yeah, if he actually believed he the president. Yeah, delusional shit. Yeah. This is what's important to men, you know what I'm saying? Or so-called men, you know what I mean? Being the stream president and all that. But I guess he's doing what he can for his family. He feel like he bringing in the cheese for his family by any means. You know, everybody got to pay their bills. I guess he, you know, whatever, man. Whatever. Talking about his balls with his mom. Oh, man, don't even get me started on that. Don't even get me started on that. How a man could want and expect the utmost respect for his mother and want everybody else to talk with respect and like they got some morals and values to your mother, yet your mouth is the worst one running and talking. That's saying the most foulest things and doesn't even have no type of a censor in front of your mother that is clearly a woman that is not trying to be a part of negativity and spewing of the shit that come off of your tongue when you be saying and shit like that. This man mother tries to be a positive individual, you can tell, right? And she ain't on none of that. And she be trying to bring him down when he be doing that shit. Like, well, why are you talking like, don't say that type of stuff. And he be like, Mom, shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, he don't really say it like that, but he be like, Mama, don't, you know what I'm saying? Shut up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got this, leave me alone type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't run shit in here, Mama. Basically telling her that. You know this my house. And you just over here. You know what I'm saying? You don't really like it, Mama. You can leave, really. Don't be trying to tell me what to say in my house. You know what I'm saying? That ain't even your house. That's them babies' house. That's them girls' house. You in that crib because of them girls. No doubt, Snoop. I'm gonna get off this shit. I'm gonna get off of it. But niggas be running around talking like they be doing so much and all that, and they lying. They ain't lying to me, nigga. I know the real, nigga. That's them girls' crib, nigga. If you ain't had them kids, you wouldn't even be in that project apartment and get none of that, nigga. You know what I'm saying? And food stamps and all that. You not taking care of them kids like as much as you keep hollering about you is. She should be streaming. Who that? Who you talking about? Snoop. And I ain't even gonna say what I was about to say. Cause y'all niggas not fucking with me in no type of way, man. Verbally or nothing. You only hurt yourself when you be trying to attack me. Because I just bring out the shit on your ass that's the truth, and the worst truths that you don't like, they really hurt your feelings, dog. While you be trying to hurt mine. I can just be breaking y'all shit down. I don't even want to do that shit to y'all ass, though. That ain't what I be on, but I could, motherfucker. Oh, she more gangster than Hardy. Man, don't even, man. Because that's what I'm about to get on. And I'm not even trying to get on her. You know what I'm saying? Because this nigga tongue and mouth. You know what I'm saying? Like, live and let live, man. Yeah, I'm off of it. Because he would love to know that I'm in here talking about him and shit anyway. And it ain't even necessarily about him. It's about the actions of these folks. If it ain't have to be him. You know what I'm saying? It could be anybody who doing that shit. He just happened to be the one doing it. Like I said, like Rufio. You just happened to be the one that I walked in the stream and saw them happy at first. And I watched your demeanor change. Like, I walked into that shit and I was like, damn, what the fuck? Like, as I was watching, I was like, damn, that nigga whole shit just swapped out. That shit did not look like he happy to me. And I was like, damn, look like he's sad. Really, look at his body language. I'm like, damn, that shit a perfect example of what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? It ain't have nothing to do with Rufio. It was the moment. It was it was just how the shit went down. It could have been anybody who did it. I'd have had to record that shit. Cause when Rufio was speaking, have you seen the video I'm talking about, Snoop? That video I did about Rufio and Xmas. Cause I'll play it if you haven't seen it. But yeah, these folks celebrating Xmas, not even Christmas, because Christ ain't even involved in what they celebrating. Ain't nobody referencing Christ and none of that. Buying all them toys, spending all your money up. And you ain't even talking about Jesus even on the day. Your mouth ain't mentioned Jesus on Christmas Day at all, Rufio, or none of the days leading up to it. Talking about you celebrating Christmas. Nah, you celebrated Xmas, and your reflection showed that when I caught it on tape. It was like I was gonna say, the nigga was happy at first. When he read Beer's comment, it was like, happy holidays, or whatever. It was like, oh, Beers, what's up, man? Happy holidays, you know, all been up to. And he was like, oh, what I've been up to? Man, that nigga, when he thought about what he been up to, that nigga whole body, yeah, he's smarter than he act, but he dumber than he think he is, though, too, at the same time. He's not as smart as he thinks he is. Because he makes errors and shit all the time that I've been correcting him on since the day I met him. And he and I both know the truth. I don't give a fuck what he trying to tell y'all. He know how many times I corrected him over these years. Grammatically, theoretically, all type of ways. Like, this nigga think he be trying to tell me, I be having to let this nigga know what it really is. Especially when it come to like these words and shit. And then not to mention this nigga thought, not to mention, was you in here the other time when he thought that Satan or that Lucifer, when Lucifer took a third of the angels with him when he left heaven, he said that was 75% of the angels in heaven? That a third of the angels means 75%, and was dead serious about that shit. Argued me up and down. Few of us was in here trying to tell him like what the fuck. He was still sticking to that shit. Like he would not come up off of it. It's sad, boy. Some people can't even just admit when they wrong and shit. Focus on positive. Thank you. Yeah. Focus on positive. With a capital P next time. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say he did. But yeah, man. This shit be crazy, bro. I say Rufio, if 1/3 is 75%, this I say, okay, I'm gonna tell you how you know you're wrong. If he took 2/3 with him, how much percent is that? He never answered the question. He never could, but kept sticking with the 75. Like, I knew I had him, but he would never answer it. And then he kind of just faded to black after that. You know what I'm saying? But it's just situations like that where I'm just, you know what I'm saying? Constantly teaching this dude and like correcting him and shit. But I'm moving on. Let's finish this.
Using your brains a little bit. This is not an Aussie. When you're a citizen of the Commonwealth of Australia, you are a District of Columbian. You know, I know you're not going to like that.
Which is the same as an American.
Same with when you go into the church and you're in the church, the Anglican church.
Because even though he referenced in Australia, because that's where he at, but he said you were a citizen of the District of Columbia, just like an American. Everything he's saying that they going through, because Australia was colonized by the same crown that own us, and so we all the same.
Catholic, because the Church of England church, the real church, is no longer here in Australia. I think it went in 1973 when Gough Whitlam signed the Unitory Treaty of Rome and handed the administration of Australia over to the Unitory Treaty, or the civil procedure rules of the Vatican, which is really the rules of corporate law. That's why corporations run everything now, and that's why there are no more common law courts left, because our common law government not only probably has it been usurped and taken, I don't think Australia ever even had a government, because it was the British administration before this one in 1973 came in. The reason why Australia doesn't have a government is probably because there's just no Australians that can comprehend how to create the banks, the de jure banks, or the national banks, because Australians, and not just Australians, people around the world, the art, the craft of modern day banking is limited to a very few amount of people, and that's why they keep it international. And the more central they get the government, as the UN or the United Nations or the EU, the European Union, the more central they get this government, the less and less they can let out the art and the craft of these fiat currency banking systems. And like, they're not actually dealing with money, they're dealing with dollars or debt notes. They are not dealing with gold and silver. And the security for those banks are these certificates, and that is now why this birth certificate, these ones here, sit in the CBA building in Brisbane and the state of Victoria and everything. They no longer sit in the government printing offices, they sit inside the bank, and that is the security of that. So there's a little rundown coming from the tinfoil hat people, I guess you could say, the people that start to question this, and I've spent a lot of time trying to fathom this out, and the evidence of what I've assumed and the work of getting it sits here. And the other evidence is the very fact that these are now have been transferred from the government printing office into the Commonwealth Bank of Australia. That is not the Commonwealth Bank of Australia, because it is the Commonwealth Bank of Australia Corporation, registered in the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, as you can see here. And it derives from that district of
Your family will come running or flip.
Yeah, why did he change it? Oh, because it's on the same shit. Oh no, it changed it. Hey, look how flat this horizon is, though. I still didn't go look up how hot. Wait, let me just look it up right here. Hold up. I wish I could click on this video and it looked like that same thumbnail. But as soon as I go to it, it's kind of obstructing it on the side a little bit. See? Damn, don't do it. Ah. See, it always... Anyway. Thank you, sis. Much love, too, yo. I appreciate that. Much love. Thanks for showing support. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Hey, look. I wish you would have been here earlier. If you can go back and watch this at some point, I think you really should. You know, man. It was some great information in this video. As are all my videos, really. The stream I did before this, before I got cut off, had a lot of good information in it too. But this one just talking about the 2 birth certificates. That video I just got through playing was about our real birth certificate versus the one we have. You know what I mean? And that did you see that about them birth certificates? So there are 2 birth certificates. One is a creditor position and one is a debtor position. And all of us got the debtor one, basically. Alright. The one saying we are U.S. property. Nah, but yeah, well, not U.S. property, but yeah, property of the crown that own all the property in all of the colonies that they colonized, or all the lands that they colonized. But nah, so there are like if you can rewind my video, just jump back, you know what I'm saying, to the beginning right quick and at least see what he's saying. If you could, you know what I'm saying, if it's there, you'll see what he's saying. It's 2 birth certificates. And we can apply for the true birth certificate when you become of age. And it doesn't have your surname. It's like just got your first and middle name. And the birth date ain't the same. It all plays off of how they using admiralty law on the land. And when you were actually birthed was not the day that you were born. Is actually when they entered you into register. It is, ain't it, DJ? Thank you, bro. Thank you for typing that, my brother. I wish more people would speak up when they see some shit and they know, you know what I'm saying? Like, that mean a lot to me, man. Because sometimes people need more than one person saying some shit. You know what I'm saying? They need others' input encourages, you know what I'm saying, them to maybe take what they need to hear. You know what I'm saying? Maybe somebody else watching this, you know what I'm saying, they ain't hearing me. They might see you and be like, damn, well, that's at least somebody co-signing what he's saying. You know what I mean? This is important. So thank you, bro. Look how this shit done jumped to what I need to show, though. Look at this horizon, yo. I tell you this, I guarantee you, probably, however far this point is right here, the farthest away that I can get, how many miles you think that is? You should be seeing some curvature probably or something over there at this point. But if its curvature is a ball, why it ain't no curvature on the sides showing over here though? Of course we can't see curvature going forward right here because our eyes can't see the curve that way because it'd be bowing over like, but we could certainly be able to see it curving over here like this. Why we never see no type of, nowhere near this shit looking like it's trying to bend at all? And I know this span right here, how many miles you think this is from this point to this? And I'm up on top of a mountain. Let me see how high I'm up. Ever wonder why now basically blacks in royal families, ever wonder why now blacks is in the royal family after centuries? Ever wonder why now basically blacks is in the royal family after centuries? Now everyone is claiming black or biracial. Yeah, well, I mean, I guess everybody say they claiming black or biracial by the first person or whatever being from Africa too, right? Somebody could claim that we all, you know what I'm saying, got black in us, or at least African, which it wasn't even called Africa back then, so it wouldn't even really be African. This is why this whole shit is lame as hell. Everybody want to be claiming some state to something and claiming some shit. I'm an African. Well, that shit wasn't even, that shit recently been called Africa. You don't even know what you are. Why this ain't bending though? At all. And let me look up this again, hold up. Things that make you go, Talk nice, mama. Every time I hear that now, I think of Queen Jilla, man. Bow! Boom, 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 boom! Shout out to Jilla family. Oh, but shout out OG Product on YouTube. I'm quoting OG Product on YouTube. That nigga funny as hell, but he be dropping that shit, though. Oh, damn. Queenie behind it. Some other stuff is going on. Damn, I missed that. My fault. But I ain't see what you said before. Queenie behind it. They say Earth is a realm, not a planet. That too. That's what I'm saying, though, too, now. You know what I mean? Ain't no planets. Ain't none of that what they done told you. all this. They got us some more planets and all this. And what's crazy is even the planets that they talking about. Remember, I played the video and I'll play it again right now. All those planets are named after the pagan gods or whatever they said. You know what I'm saying? And they named them all after the elements. They named them gods after, they named the planets after the gods, and they named the elements on the periodic table after them gods too. I played that video. Nobody never was paying attention to that shit. Now people are saying if everyone is mixed, it would end racism. So everyone should merge. Well, there's a story that talks about that, and I was speaking to somebody else about that, and I saw that. I probably got it in one of my folders somewhere. I seen this shit a long time ago though, so I don't remember what the name of the video was. But in some culture or some story, it talk about why there were different races created, and how they all gonna merge and create one race. That's what we're headed to, and that's what the signs are showing. That's what it's headed, like the story said. You know what I'm saying? And it showed how many generations it was gonna take in order for this to come to fruition. See, it was a whole story and explained that shit on how many generations it was gonna take for that shit to turn into wherever it was all just one thing. I don't care about interracial relationships, but I am wondering what Queenie has planned. When you say Queenie, who you talking about? Who are you talking about? The Queen of England? Or who is Queenie? Who are you talking about? Morgan Freeman says, stop talking about racism and racism. How you gonna end racism? By the mixture of the peoples? Because it seemed like no matter what they say, the people still mixing. No matter how much white folks is getting mad about their daughters or whatever, they teaching their sons and daughters not to, you know what I'm saying? Hell, that shit probably heightens their interest. You know what they say when a parent tell a kid not to do something, it make them want to do it more. So they like, stay away from niggers. And she like, okay, Dad. All right. And meanwhile, she's like, why the fuck I need to stay away from these niggas? She trying to go figure out what's up with some niggers around this bitch. Well, and vice versa too. And vice versa on the black side. When them black trying to teach they black kids not to be, you know what I'm saying, with the other side and whoop de whoop, it'd be doing the same effect. Queen Elizabeth, yeah, that's what I thought you was talking about. Hold on. Yeah, but the Queen ain't running shit though. The Queen ain't really running nothing at all. Queen like a president. The Queen like the president, how the United States had a president and whatnot. She might be a little bit more important to their side than that, but she ain't nothing. Yeah, here I come, bro. Yeah, she ain't nothing though. On the grand scale of things. She ain't she ain't at the top of the crown. She part of the lower order of the crown. But we should be seeing some curvature in this. And hold on before I do this. Hold up. Keep getting distracted from this. Yeah, they ain't nothing. They ain't talking about nothing. They just lower on the totem pole. You know what I'm saying? They who you get to see. They who they put the spotlight on and shit like that. Because the upper above them don't want the spotlight up on them. So they let y'all see these little lowerlings and shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like that. Hey, look, so I was 2,421 feet up, 738 meters above sea level. Almost 2,500 feet up, you know what I mean, in the air, on top of this mountain called Pilot Mountain. Because the airplanes was using this, which they say mountains like these was giant trees that then petrified at the base. We'll talk about that later. But I feel like we should be seeing some curvature on the sides bending down over here. If it's supposed to be some going this way, they lying like hell. All right, check this out. Oh, let me see. I don't think so. Let me read your comment before you go. I don't think so. I think she at the helm. Nah, see, you gotta do more research. I used to think that too. That's how I know she ain't. You know what I'm saying? I thought she was though. She is important though. She ain't like a nobody. You know what I'm saying? She just not at the top of that shit. She's one that you get to see and shit. You know what I'm saying? So she ain't. But okay, take it easy, and hope to see you soon. At least that's what my research showed me. Cause like I said, I used to think she was too, till I found out otherwise.
So,
and actually, I can play some information on that next time we get together.
I bought a piece of property in 2005 or 2004, 2005.
I'll be right back.
I paid $19,000 cash for it. I had just paid off my restaurant, and I had extra money, and I was blowing it because I was in my 20s and I didn't know any better. So everyone back then, this was before the 2008 crash, they said, buy land, because God isn't making any more land, blah, 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 blah. So I paid $19,000 cash for this piece of property, and for some reason, every year I got to pay rent for my own property to the government, which literally means you cannot own property in America, because if you own it, that means you don't have to pay anyone for it. But if you have to pay somebody for it every year, and you don't pay them, and they can send guys with guns to come take your property from you, then it's not your property. So every year I call them, and I say to them, when do I get to own this property? And they'll say something stupid like, you do own it. I go, and then I'll say something like, if I own it, why do I have to pay you for it? And then they'll say something stupid like, oh, it's just a tax, sir. As if that magically makes it okay. So there's no private property in America, technically, because you can't own something. If you have to pay somebody for it under the penalty of confiscation or tax liens or blah, 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 whatever magic words they come up with it in their religion of violence, then it's not yours. So you're not the owner of your house. You're not the owner of your property. If you have to pay somebody else for it, you're not the owner. So this yearly rent, I call them every year, and I bust their nuts because that's what government deserves. They're working for us. And once we all get together and realize that and put an end to all this roadside extortion and racketeering and this you can't own your property unless you pay us bullshit, then it's going to keep happening and it's going to keep escalating.
Everything
because
is
the government
corporate
never
now.
stops.
The leaders are just figurehead. That's
So
right.
before I play you the phone call, let me tell you a quick story. I bought this property, $19,000 cash.
Figureheads.
I've been trying to sell it ever since. It's not really selling,
And
whatever.
we know figureheads don't
So
run
I just
shit.
keep paying the yearly property tax on it, or else I get threatened with violence.
Right? And we know figureheads don't run the corporation. They just you know what I'm saying? Real face for somebody to point their finger at. Right? We got to grasp that. President don't make no motherfucking real calls and shots. They lying. People actually believe that though. I mean, I can understand young people believing that coming up. But when you become an adult and you like realize what's going on, maybe it's people, I guess people just ain't realizing. They ain't trying to realize. President ain't running nothing, man. President taking orders. And it's all by design for him to present it as if he the one making the call. So that you can point your finger and be mad at him if it goes wrong. Or point your finger and be happy about him if you think he did right. either way it go, who's really pulling the strings and running the show is not the one you get to either be happy with or upset at.
And
thank you, my brother. No, the shareholders do these are the investors that's right. Exactly. I found out that early. See what I mean? The investors are never named. That's right. You know what I'm saying? They the ones behind the scenes, the ones that's really calling the shots. The shareholders, the investors, they the ones, you know what I'm saying, calling the shots. Damn the person they put up in the front for you to just a face. That's it.
so one time I looked up Cadillac Elantes in 1993, which I wanted to buy. So I called up about 12 dealerships and I offered them my...
And they paid them very well to get up there in the front, and you know what I'm saying? They pay all the CEO, I mean the president, you know what I'm saying? They pay all presidents of all companies very well, get paid very well to go up there and take the blame or, you know what I'm saying, blame or credit for what happens with the corporation.
property as an even exchange for a Cadillac Elante.
Oh, look which he did. Elante what?
Is a 1990.
He did what?
So I just keep paying the yearly property tax on it, or else I get threatened with violence.
Damn.
And so one time I looked up...
Does that sound like something he owes?
Since it's not really selling, whatever. So I just keep... So before I play you the phone call, let me tell you a quick story. I bought this property, $19,000 cash. I've been trying to sell it ever since. It's not really selling, whatever. So I just keep paying the yearly property tax on it, or else I get threatened with violence.
Right, and come and take his shit. That don't mean it's yours then.
Cadillac Elantes in 1993, which I wanted to buy. So I called up about 12 dealerships and I offered them my property as an even exchange for a Cadillac Elante, which I paid $19,000. Cadillac Elantes are worth about $11,000 to $14,000. So every single one of them said no. And then the last guy I called, he's like, I'm not really interested. So I threw out the old line. I said, God isn't making any more land. And he says, well, God isn't making any more Elantes either, which was the best comeback ever. And I still have the property, and I'm still paying the yearly extortion fee to Joe G. Tedder, whoever that asshole is.
Damn, look at that.
So here's
to a specific name, Joe G. Tedder. Damn.
Thank you for calling the tax collector's office for Polk County. To access online payment services, information, and service center wait times, visit polktaxes.com. If you are not a Polk County taxpayer or resident, press 8 now for the services available to you.
Blah, blah, blah.
Para español, por favor, presione 9. For office hours, locations, and appointments, please press 1. For motorist services, including driver licenses, ID cards, vehicle taxes, press 3. For concealed weapons, hunting, and fishing. Did you know property tax pay for real estate property taxes? Press 1. For tangible personal property. 1 moment, please. I thought I had a bad accent when I was speaking Spanish.
Tax collector's office, Penny speaking to help you.
Hi, Penny, how are you? I'm going to record this phone call for my records.
Okay, what can I help you with?
I'd like to pay this yearly rent you guys charge me.
Hey, wait. Hold up. Sound like I've kind of felt the change in her tone and her voice from when she first answered to the next thing she said after she said hello. Let's see if we hear a distinction between that, or if I'm just tripping.
For my records.
Wait.
Tax collector's office, Penny speaking to help you.
Hi, Penny, how are you? I'm going to record this phone call for my records.
Okay, what can I help you with?
I'd like to pay this yearly rent you guys charge me.
Hold on. Said, come on, G. Hold up. Like he was violating her. You know what I'm saying? These people trying to uphold this system, they feel some type of pride and some type of, like, he acting like it was a personal thing against her. She acting like, you know what I'm saying, it's a problem. She don't want to be recorded. For what? Like, what are you, Why wouldn't you want to be recorded? You only doing your job. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, you're probably recording this conversation. More than likely, when he's calling in to her, he already done got a disclaimer said, we're recording this. So as soon as he hit them with that, you see how she acting. Well, let's move on.
Hello? Do you have an account number?
Hold up. Then she left his ass like that. Hold up, look, check it out. Come on, Penny. Why you acting like this?
Penny, how are you? I'm gonna record it.
And he said, how you doing? How are you and all that? She probably ain't even gonna reply.
Penny speaking to help you.
Hi, Penny, how are you? I'm gonna record this phone call for my records.
Okay, what can I help you with?
Look, didn't even acknowledge his how are you.
You guys charge me?
Didn't even acknowledge his how are you that he asked her. You know what I'm saying? Totally skipped past that shit. She could at least been like, I'm doing fine. How can I help you? And whoop-de-whoop. But nah, none of that.
This phone call for my records.
Okay, what can I help you with?
I'd like to pay this yearly rent you guys charge me. Hello?
Do you have an account number or physical address?
Account number is 323015.
Is that the account number? Because you're missing two numbers.
It says account number, and then that number I just read to you is inside of a box.
What's the address?
Now she can't even look it up.
West.
Now she couldn't even pull him up. He just said that was all was in the box, and it said account number. Get your ass out of here, Penny.
John.
Tell me you missing two numbers. He said everything in a damn box.
Okay, the amount due is $153.12.
Okay, can I ask a question? Well, when do I get to own my property?
What do you mean, when do you get to own it?
Like, when do I not have to pay anyone for it? Because I paid it off. I bought it in 2005 for $19,000 cash. And for some reason, I keep having to paying you guys for it. At what point does the property become mine?
It is yours. You do have to pay real estate taxes every year, and that does not go away.
If it's mine, why would I have to pay you? If I have to pay you, then it's not mine. It's yours.
You need to speak to your someone in the Senate or the House of Representatives for Florida.
Oh, they're the people that are...
Florida statutes.
They're the owners of my property?
They're the ones that mandate the fees and everything on the properties. It's all in the Florida statutes.
Oh, so they passed a statute saying that I can't own my property unless I pay them?
Sir, if you own your property, you do have to pay real estate tax.
Ma'am, you can't own something and pay someone else for it. That's contradicting.
I'm not debating on it.
I'm not debating either. I'm just going by the dictionary. It's not a debate. You either own it or you don't. You can't have it both ways.
Then you need to speak to a real estate attorney.
A real estate attorney?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, until who'd you say, senators and politicians decide to let me own my...
All of the Florida statutes, what we charge and what we collect for.
Right, so until they decide that I can own my own property, I have to pay a yearly rent, basically.
Whatever you want to call it.
Okay. I mean, that's what it is. It's never going to be mine if I have to pay someone else for it. So, I'm ready when you are to pay this extortion fee. I'm doing it under duress.
Well, then you need to put that in writing.
But what in writing?
That you're paying it under duress, because
Now, this is where I think I'm onto something, because she says I need that in writing. Okay, now listen.
Duress, because there's nowhere I can put that in the system. It would have to come in writing.
There's nowhere I can put that in the system, she says.
That's why I'm recording. It's on record. So, tell me when you're ready.
It's not on our record.
Well, it's on my record. I can prove it in court at any time. So, I'm ready when you are.
Hold on.
Poor lady.
Watch this.
And how did you want to pay that?
Credit.
It's going to charge information number?
Sure.
449-62 2449.
And there's nowhere you can leave a note where I'm paying under duress?
I'd prefer it in writing.
I'm not asking what you prefer, ma'am. I'm asking if there's a note you can put.
I can put a note in the account, but I prefer it in writing.
Okay, please put the note in the account
Listen to
for the
this.
record that I'm paying under duress.
That's crazy. She would
All
not
right.
want. She said,
And
"All
I
right."
understand it's not you that's doing all this, but you're the person they put to face the people because they're too cowardly to do it themselves.
Right.
I know it's not you, ma'am, and I don't mean to give you a hard time, but you're the person they put up against the people.
All right, you have a good day.
You do the same, ma'am. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Come on, bruh.
So,
Come on, bruh.
when I said I want to pay under duress, first she wanted it in writing, then she said it had to be in writing, and then she said there's nowhere for her to put it in her thing, and then when I pressed her on it, she said she preferred it in writing. So if everybody, either in writing or makes them put it in the memo, when they pay their property taxes, they should say I'm doing it under duress. That way there's a record that you don't agree with it, and then maybe one day we can own our own property again.
From now on, I'm
What a
paying
concept.
all my shit under duress. I don't give a damn if what it is, property tax, mortgage. I don't give a damn. Every time I pay something that's under duress, put it in a note. You know what I'm saying? I'm recording too. Need to start recording the calls. You know what I'm saying? Put it in a note. Because I don't feel like I should be having to pay you this right now. For whatever reason I am, though. But, you know what I'm saying? Just so that you don't come and I have problems. So I'm doing this under duress. I'm put it in the note every time from now on. But, look how that lady was acting, though. She told dude she need that in writing. Told him she was nowhere to put it at. Then told me I would prefer it in writing. He was like, ma'am, I'm not asking you what you prefer. To the point where he had to tell her to do it, and then she did it. What the fuck? Hold up.
That in writing.
But what in writing?
That you're paying it under duress, because
Now,
He
this
had
is
to,
where I think I'm onto something,
he had to
because
clearly make
she says I need that in writing.
a demand.
Okay, now listen.
It's like if he
Correct.
didn't. It's like if he didn't actually say the words. It's like she tried to deter him from saying the words of put it in there, because he was asking her, "Can you?" You know what I'm saying? Instead of saying, "Put this in a note," making a statement. It's a different than asking a question and making a direct statement. It's like she was trying to deter him from making that, and then finally, by his questioning, it led him to the point where he realized he could just tell her to fucking do it. Come on, man.
because there's nowhere I can put that in the system. It would have to come in.
Look at that. She straight
In
lied.
the system, she says.
That's why I'm recording. It's on
She
record.
straight lied. She
Tell me
told
when
a
you're ready.
bold-faced ass lie.
There's nowhere I can put that in the system, she says.
That's why I'm recording. It's on record.
Hold on.
I'm doing it under duress.
This lady told a
Well, then you need to put
bold-faced
that in writing.
lie.
But what in writing?
That you're paying it under duress, because
Now, this is where I think I'm onto something, because she says I need that in writing. Okay, now listen.
duress, because there's nowhere I can put that in the system. It would have to come in
Well,
writing.
That's crazy,
Nowhere I can
man.
put that in the system, she says.
That's why I'm recording. It's on record.
Hey, the last guy said he wouldn't pay taxes. The feds had him trapped up in his house for 7 years before they ran in. Oh yeah. I just seen a video about some shit about that too. I wonder if you're talking about the same shit I'm thinking about.
So, tell me when you're ready.
On our record.
What's on my record?
Damn, it camped outside the crib. Wait, you are talking about was he a white guy? Because I just seen something like that. It's like this country white dude. He said he never had he never had a social security card. Like his parents, yeah, we talking about the same one. He said he never had a social security card, and he young. His parents never applied for him for one, because his parents knew the knowledge. See what I'm saying? So they probably was like, we ain't having nothing to do with that. They probably already knew what time it was. Because when you take on that social security number and shit, your ass become like an employee of the United States corporation. Supposed to be playing some information on that. But let's go back to this story right here.
I can prove it in court at any time. So I'm ready when you are.
Hold on.
Look how she said hold on when he told her he could prove it in court.
Poor lady.
She went to typing on that shit like ta on that shit real hard. One finger
And
out.
how did you want to pay that?
Credit?
Oh.
It's going to charge information number?
Sure.
449-62449.
And there's nowhere you can leave a note where I'm paying under duress?
I prefer it in writing.
I'm not asking what you prefer, ma'am. I'm asking if there's a note you can put.
Why
I
is she
can put a
acting
note
like
in
that?
the account, but I prefer it in
Okay,
writing.
please put the note in the account for the record that I'm paying under duress.
Why would you have to do all this?
All right.
And I understand it's not you that's doing all this, but you're the person they put to face the people because they're too cowardly.
How could she have even a position towards a citizen that's doing this, and how's she not sympathizing with him? As if the money that she is collecting or something is for her ass. This is how these people be acting. They totally brainwashed. These folk, you ever dealt with somebody that work at a courthouse? Oh my God. If them people in the courthouse ain't the most privileged acting people and act like they in there, like, you ever, oh man, not to mention, it might even be worse than the tag agency here. I don't know how they got set up where y'all at, but the tag agency here is like not even a governmental agency where you go get your license plate at. They are contracted by the state, and they are just some business. You know, they're just somebody who got something set up. They done set up something where they can contract with the state to now handle the collection of. Well, they don't even do they collect taxes still too? Yeah, I think they still do collect taxes and let you get this, you know, your license plate and the registration, your stickers and all that. Because, Gas, she's part of the system, like an agent in the Matrix. Exactly right. That's why she's getting mad. See how you making that connection? I'm glad you said that because I wasn't quite making that connection. But you're exactly right. That's right. That's right. See that connection? I be telling people the Matrix movie is just like what we live. It really is. It's a depiction of it and shit. Yeah, one of them agents for the Matrix. That's why they say them agents can transform into anyone. They can be anybody. That's the purpose of that. They could be a troll. They could be a lady you call to pay the taxes. Anybody that's just trying to promote that Matrix and make it hard for your ass. It's like a brainwashed person, basically. An agent. But, damn, what I was going to say? Oh, dude was done with his video. Shit, I restarted. Fuck. Let's let dude wrap up his video.
What in writing? Poor lady.
I prefer.
Face the people because they're too cowardly to do it themselves. I know it's not you, ma'am, and I don't mean to give you a hard time, but you're the person they put up against the people.
I had to tell dude that.
All right, you have a good day.
You do the same, ma'am. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So, when I said I want to pay under duress, first she wanted it in writing, then she said it had to be in writing, and then she said there's nowhere for her to put it in her thing, and then when I pressed her on it, she said she preferred it in writing. So if everybody, either in writing or makes them put it in the memo, when they pay their property taxes, they should say I'm doing it under duress. That way there's a record that you don't agree with it, and then maybe one day we could own our own property again. What a concept. Go to my eBay and Etsy and Patreon and
I need to finish this video right here we was watching before we got disconnected the first time. I had played some other shit just so I can come back in case those who was watching this can finish it. With Brother Yusef L.
The cost prayed for in the complaint or associated with the statute case to defend of the complaint is not. When the prosecutor can't do it and you can't do it, all man named on the presentment was public defender. If there is a court involved, the judge may appoint a public defender for the defendant. You are not the defendant. The straw man named on the presentment was chosen to be the defendant. Remember rule number 1. The public and private can never be mixed. They can't do it, and you can't do it. They don't ever mix them, so be careful you don't either. If the defendant has a public defender, this is good. When the prosecutor signs the complaint, verifying it, and his signature is notarized, he's taking on the liability that may follow in the event it is discovered the complaint is not valid. He has taken a chance, because at that point, he is the only attorney of record. He has filed a form of notice of appearance by filing the complaint or filing the grand jury indictment. He technically represents the defendant until someone takes his place. He is counting on someone appearing in the case to defend against his complaint. If that doesn't happen, he is the responsible party and liable for all the cost prayed for in the complaint or associated with the statute violation.
Damn,
if that does happen, he is off the hook.
Damn,
almost 100% of the time, that is what happens.
Whoever
He's pretty
that?
safe taking this chance. Usually, the straw man named on the complaint gets a good attorney.
Hey, whoever knew dude had that they was just passing the buck on who gotta pay for all of this shit. If they can't get you to take claim for that straw man, somebody else gotta pay for all that. Hold on, he finna break it down. Never knew this, how it worked.
Me to defend him. That means the defense attorney has taken on the liability, right? Not so fast. He does not take on the liability until he signs a notice of appearance and files it in the clerk file for that case. Once he is the attorney of record for the defense, he's on the hook. Now, he has to get someone to take his place. The likely taker on that position is the straw man named in the complaint, indictment, or traffic ticket. The straw man can't talk, so someone has to represent it. Usually, that is you, because you have a point to make, or a lesson to teach, or testimony that will prove your case. Wrong choice. This is almost always the losing proposition. Really good off-point paperwork has been put into court for decades with very low success rate. The only way to win is to let the state win. I love win-win situations.
This shit crazy.
How can you win and the state win at the same time? If you accept and return the presentment and exchange your exemption for discharge of the charges, the state gets the credits from your exemption and you get the discharge when you bond the case. Well, that sounds easy, right? If the defense attorney can get you to act as the trustee for the straw man trust named on the complaint, the defense attorney is off the hook too. It is just a series of passing the buck, a hot potato game. The one who ends up with it has to pay the bill. The prosecuting attorney starts with it. It goes on to the defense attorney if he files a notice of appearance, and then on to the straw man if he volunteered to defend, argue, testify, or join in the action in any way. It eventually ends up in your lap. You are stuck with the public liability unless you accept and discharge it from the private side. The hot potato game. Prosecuting attorney, defense attorney, straw man, and you.
And I bring that real shit.
If there is no defense...
I bring that real shit. My stream was popping around this bitch. You heard me? You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all let y'all friends know. You know what I'm saying? Let everybody know around this bitch who really bringing it, though. You know what I'm saying? Fuck them lame ass streams where a nigga drinking a whole motherfucking bottle of liquor and passing out and acting like he did something.
Attorney, it just passes to the defending straw man. If you accept, it stays with the prosecuting attorney. He has the power to settle the accounting if you authorize him to do so. If the county attorney begins to act too cocky with you, you can take the wind out of his sails by asking him to produce the 1040 for this case. If he denies the need to do such a thing, inform him that you will be taking care of that for him ASAP, as soon as possible. He may move for a discharge at that point because you are a little too dangerous or smart. The last thing that prosecutor wants is the IRS examining his files for the last 7 years because he makes money on every conviction, but he doesn't pay taxes on them as a rule. He usually only declares the salary he receives. Also, should you accidentally find yourself in a mental hospital, the psychiatrist who's assigned or appointed to evaluate you is just as corrupt as the judge, clerk and county attorney, and he will falsify all your responses to him, just so that you're recommitted back into the mental facility with a review in 6 months. So lie to him and deny that you ever made such remarks. Of course, if you accept the...
This is supposed to be a retired judge that's saying all this. Just to make that clear.
Just so that you're recommitted back into the mental facility with a review in 6 months. So lie to him and deny that you ever made such remarks. Of course, if you accept the criminal charges against your birth certificate, then you will instantly be deemed sane. Sorry that I had to be the one to tell you this, but this is how corrupt many of my fellow judges truly are, and it should explain why my conscience caused me to retire early. Before I learned what was really going on, I believed that my duties and performance were entirely constitutional. I was lied to also. Citations. The citation process can be handled much easier through the mail. When a police officer issues you a citation, he's actually requesting you to contract with him.
Hey, y'all that's up in here, y'all lucky y'all in here right now. Praise God. Check out this information right here.
He's alleging that you violated a corporate regulation in writing, which you have accepted by signing and thus requires you to respond. The police officer is instructed to explain that your signature is merely an acknowledgement that you received a copy of the citation, but in actuality, your signature is notification to the court and judge that you have accepted or consented to this offer to contract, which also grants the judge consent, personam, and subject matter jurisdiction over you and the case. You can cancel that contract, however, by rescinding your consent. The Federal Truth in Lending Act provides that any party to a contract may rescind his contract within 3 business days of entering into such a contract. So across the face of the citation, you should print or type in large print the following words: I do not accept this offer to contract, and I do not consent to these proceedings. Use blue ink for admiralty or purple ink for royalty. Admiralty is the court and royalty represents your sovereignty. Either way is appropriate. Sign your signature underneath in blue or purple ink and in front of a notary and under your signature type, without prejudice, UCC 1-308. This is another way to declare that you may not be held responsible for this contract pursuant to the Uniform Commercial Code. Serve the counsel citation back on the clerk/court, along with a certificate of service by certified mail, return receipt requested. This kills the citation, removes your consent, and removes the jurisdiction of the court, all at the same time. It really is that simple. Note, a certificate of service is a letter that first identifies the citation and then defines how and when you return the document to the court and is signed. If not denied, it becomes a truth in commerce by tacit procreation. Remember to keep a copy of everything in case the clerk attempts to trash your response, which certainly will not happen with a certificate of service or if it is mailed back by the notary. The notary is actually a deputy secretary of state and is more powerful than the court clerk. Public notaries originate from the time of the Egyptian and Roman scribes, who were the purveyors of certain...
He said that a notary is actually a deputy secretary of state and is more powerful than a court clerk. That's crazy. And your boy a notary. Myself, your boy is a deputy secretary of the state. In case you didn't know that. I got more power than the county clerk. Than the court clerk about this bitch. They gonna make me go in and flex my muscles on the air. But nah, I'm just joking. You know you're looking at Mason's secret knowledge shit, right? Hell yeah. This the type of shit to get a nigga shot. You know what I'm saying? This the type of shit they use to wiggle in court. That's right. See, they know this. And you want to know why none of the people never get to see none of this? For the reason I said. When you ever go to court, notice if you ever pled not guilty, you have to wait in that bitch all day. Unless you have a lawyer. Right? But if you just coming in there pleading not guilty yourself, I don't know if y'all ever had the balls to do that or not, but where I'm from, you be like the last motherfucker in the court. It might be maybe one more person in there with you who might have pled not guilty or something. But more than likely, ain't no audience. It's you and them folk up in there. You know what I'm saying? Just like they had me waiting around that last time. Now, I told y'all about the time I pled no contest, and they was like, all right, and they let me go. Now, I meant to tell y'all that no contest law in North Carolina, I mean, not no contest, excuse me, a prayer for judgment, a prayer for judgment. So when they give you that prayer for judgment, which they don't have to, but if you was in here and I said that earlier, what happens is, and remember, they're not supposed to be mixing church and state, you know, church and government around here, but they still doing it. So they put you on probation for 2 years on your driving probation, basically. So if your ass show back up in court again on another traffic violation, they bring in that whatever they gave you a prayer for, like mine was a failure to stop at a stop sign, then if I come back in there with a speeding ticket or some shit or whatever, a blinker, hell, anything. If your ass come back up in there within 2 years for any motherfucking violations, they hitting your ass with the old charge that they let you slide with. But I already done did the 2 years already with no problem, so they done dropped that shit. They drop it after you don't have no 2 years of nothing but problems. It just happened to me, guys. I pled not guilty in the last one caught. See what I'm saying, bro? My brother. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad somebody feel me. Now, the last time I was going to say I pled not guilty, though, I seen the cop come in that morning. When I was in, because you know you got to go first thing in the morning because you don't know when you're going to be called or what, or you know what I'm saying? Whoop-de-whoop. I could have left after that. Now now I know. If you plead not guilty, go ahead and once you tell them not guilty and whoop-de-whoop, and then you can just go ahead on and dip. Because they finna have your ass sitting in that bitch all day. You know what I'm saying? That's from the time I pled not guilty, they had me in there till like 5 o'clock. I think they got up out of there about 5:30. You know what I'm saying? They went and had lunch and recess and everything. Like, damn, what? Come back, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Boom. I seen the officer though, right? Real talk. They have real talk. Then they try to say, we don't have your file. Damn. So why was I in court? Oh man, them folk ain't even had him man a file ready. Had him in here all day. Look, did me the same way, jerked me. They make you sit in there and lose out all day. Your time, which is more valuable than anything. Time is the most precious thing we got, and we be wasting it. But look, last time I was in court, this crazy. It was for another failure to stop at a stop sign. It was for running a stop sign both times. It was crazy because I had just beat a motherfucking failure to, you know what I'm saying, stop at a stop sign, and I was back in there again, and the man told me about the prayer for judgment. Let me tell you about it before I move on. That when I did that prayer for judgment shit, I happened to be sitting in this. I went and sat over on this side bench that was against the wall. I wasn't even in the pews out there in the audience because I think they was full. And I sat over there on the side, and it was this old man, right? And then he was like talking to me and shit, and telling me about how he ain't got no money to be paying these fines and fees and shit, and like, you know, talking about they on a fixed income, and him and his wife, and he was just talking to me and shit. And I was starting to feel like, man, this is the honest to God truth. I was starting to feel like, man, I ain't trying to hear all this shit. You know what I'm saying? Old man about these problems and shit. This would the spirit tried to come over me. Then I was like, then something was like, nah, man, what you mean? Don't act like that. At least you could do is just let them talk. All you got to do is listen, motherfucker. That shit hurting you to listen? So I humbled myself, and I was like, all right, bam. I listened to him, right? I'm like, all right. I played all that in my own head, right? So I'm like, all right, I'm just chilling now, just letting my man vent and say what he gotta say. So then he started talking to me about what his plan was and how he ain't never had no charges and he was finna ask for the prayer for judgment, right? And I'm like, oh damn, I ain't even think about that. You right, we do have that law. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn. I was like, hey, can I, is it all right if, you know what I'm saying, I use that too, you know what I'm saying, you ain't gonna be mad if I, you know what I'm saying, but go before you, can I use it? He was like, nah, it ain't no problem, you know what I'm saying, we can all use it, whoop de whoop. I was like, all right, they called me before they called him. Man, it was by the grace of God probably blessed me with that because I humbled myself and listened to that old man vent. And then that's when it came out later, a little bit after he was talking about what he was gonna do. I went up there and hit them folk with that whoop de whoop, and they was like, all right, and let me go, and didn't even charge me the motherfucking cost of court or none of that. And I told the old man, like, on my way out, like, thank you, you know what I'm saying? Like, good luck with your thing too, sir. I appreciate that, you know what I'm saying? He's like, no problem, young man. So I'm like, bam. Now, I'm done with that story. Now, the time I was in court before that was for another failure to stop a stop sign. And when she tried, we was on two different streets. She was on the main street driving. I was on another street running parallel to the street she was on. And as she was driving, she swears she looked over at the street running parallel and seen me not stop at a stop sign and ran through it. I'm like, how the fuck you see? Soon as she pulled me over, I seen her when she had got behind me. I just jumped out my motherfucking car, which I shouldn't have never did in the first place. She could have shot my motherfucking ass or something. But I had a blunt in that bitch. I was trying to play it off. But I'm like, why you pulling me over? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I ain't even do nothing. And she was like, get back in your car and whoop de whoop. But I made such a little commotion, she wasn't even. I was like, I ain't do what you trying to, you know what I'm saying? She like, you ran that stop sign over there. I'm like, what? Ran a stop? I ain't run shit. She was like, yeah, ain't no way you went through that intersection that fast like that if you stopped. And mind you, I was in a straight drive. You know what I'm saying? A little 5-speed gas. And next time I went to the DA, the DA came out before court started, made me an offer. I said no. He dismissed it, bruh. See what I'm saying? These puss ass niggas. Look at that shit. Niggas say he turned that shit down. Like, nah. I'm gonna dismiss the shit. He try to set you up. That's what they trying to do. They don't even be having nothing on you, trying to just set you up, get you to just commit to anything so they can look good and get something on your ass. Make a couple of dollars up off you. Get them bitches out of here. But yeah, look, so bam. Long story short, I went to court over that shit, right? I was like, what's your supervisor's name? Because you lying. You didn't even get a clear view of me. How in the fuck you see me running that if you was on right there running parallel? We both driving northbound. I'm on this street, you on this street, we running. How in the fuck you look over and tell me you seen me? Man, hell no. I told her, you abusing your power, miss. That's crazy. Why you doing that? Because you saw something you didn't see. You thinking you saw something you didn't see. So she was like, well, talk to my, you know what I'm saying, supervisor. I called his ass too and told him. She on some bullshit, he was like, well, I got to side with my officer, but if you feel that way, just plead not guilty in court and just, you know what I'm saying, plead your case in court. I was like, all right, sir. Man, I went in that motherfucker that morning. I seen her come in there. I'm like, damn. She left out. I'm in that bitch all day. You know what I'm saying? I left, came back, come back. Everybody, the whole shit done cleared out. I'm the last one. I'm thinking, damn, she still ain't popped in here yet. I already knew what time it was. But you know if the officer ain't there, you know what I'm saying, you up out of there. But the whole time I was waiting on her ass to show back up. You know, I'm in court the whole time, waiting on her ass to pop up and go sit over there where them officers be at. Man, she ain't never show up. I ain't even get to go through the little gate. You know, I didn't even get to come all the way around the podium or the little passageway where they claim you got to cross over to where you cross over the realm when you go, you know what I'm saying, go up to that table. I ain't even get to make it all the way up past that shit, but she was like, Mr. You can go ahead. Case dismissed. I'm like, thanks, Your Honor. Got the hell up out of there. Officer wasn't nowhere to be found. So I beat one failure to stop just off that. You know what I'm saying? And then the next time I was in court was on another failure to stop. And I was like, damn. And then I beat that with the perfect judgment on their ass. Man, stop playing, man. I'm that nigga, man.
Certified documents, which are sworn affidavits. Certified documents and sworn affidavits are truth in commerce. In other words, birth certificates are certified documents on bond paper. The word bonded is derived from bondage in slavery, which makes all of us bond slaves to whoever retains custody of our original birth certificates. I bet you believe that the Emancipation Proclamation freed the slaves, and it did.
Did you hear what he just said? Remember now, this, what we learning here and what you learning, this is not nobody's opinion. I want to make sure that that's, you know what I'm saying, resonating. This ain't nobody's opinion. This is factual information right here that you can go prove to yourself if you don't believe it, or you need more evidence on it. Now, the same way he just said your birth certificate is on bonded paper and it's on bonded shit because they own your ass, is the same way. And remember he just said whoever owns the original birth certificate is the one who owns the property. That's just like deeds and shit, right? They say that about your deed to your house. You better keep it in a safe place because whoever owned the deed or whatever is the one that owned the house or the property. Do that still work the same way? Anyway, it go the same way for your vehicles and shit. In any property. They own the real property when you give up that MSO to your thing. And I just went through that when I gave it up for that golf cart. They required me to give them my MSO, which is the true title to the property, in order for them to give me a tag to go on it so I could drive it around. If I would not have relinquished ownership of the true title, they wouldn't have given me shit. Period. That's why they take your kids. The same shit. That's exactly right. That's why they take your kids, and that's why they entitled to take your kids, because you only have custodial. They have granted adults and parents permission to raise their children. Even though you signed your child over to the crown, they still grant you custodial parental rights so that you can raise it. Until they feel like your ass is not doing a good job, and then they'll come and take it if they want to. And you can't say a damn thing about it because you already signed it over to them in the first place.
A short time. And then the birth certificate and the 14th Amendment enslaved us all. Summons and lawsuits. The summons process, whether it is defined as civil or criminal action, is once again an offer to contract, despite what words are used to command your appearance or response. It too can be canceled just by following the same procedure as the citation process above. A $1 million lawsuit is no different than a citation, and both can be canceled. Hard to believe, isn't it? Does your lawyer know about this? You bet he does, but he is not permitted to embarrass the court, and besides, court is where he makes his money. Note, how many of you have ever attempted to avoid jury duty? All you had to do was cancel the summons, offer the contract, notarize it, and mail it back to the jury commissioner. Don't worry, they won't bother you because you are obviously too smart and may influence their jury. The jury controls the court and not the prosecutor and judge, and if you know that, they lose and the defendant wins, which is why they prefer only the dumbed-down candidates to serve on the jury. There are a few matters or issues that are next to impossible to circumvent or quash because of the depth of corruption within these pseudo-courts, such as child custody and the division of property resulting from a divorce. The birth state claims the custody of your children pursuant to the birth certificate and records them under the Department of Transportation as a state-owned vessel.
Look at that. State-owned vessel.
A marriage is a contract, and all that is required is a prenuptial agreement to complete the marriage. But if you are sufficiently indoctrinated to believe that a judge or mayor or minister or priest must join you in holy matrimony, and you subsequently applied for a license, now you both have married the state as well. Hey. Now the state is entitled to its fair share of the division of your marital property.
I wish I could get what's the name them in here. Cause I just seen what's his name them said they just got engaged. And I'm like, man, if y'all only knew. I'm thinking if y'all only knew what y'all about to get y'allself into. Man. What's dude them name? Rhonda and what's the old buddy name? think it broke name. Damn. They need to see this shit, man. I'm gonna make sure I get this shit today.
The marriage not work out.
My homie about to get engaged too. Boy, you better put him up on game. This the realest shit right here ever. Check it out.
Or should you die? Called probate. Some people might say that a divorce should be included on this list of impossible issues, but then they don't know what I know. Marriage Licenses, The Real Truth by Virgil Cooper. Enlightening conversation with a marriage
Judge reveals all regarding foreclosure. This is on my brother Yusef L's channel. This channel name is High Frequency Radio. And it's got a blue logo with a face on it that look like it's hollering or something. High Frequency Radio. And this is about, how far are we along in this video? Look like about 24 minutes and some change. You need to watch the whole video. But this part is, I mean, hell, the whole thing interesting. But some of this shit applies, all of it applies to the other. But if you about to get married, though.
in holy matrimony, and you subsequently applied for a license, now you both have married the state as well.
Look at that.
Now the state is entitled to its fair share of the division of your marital property should the marriage not work out.
Look at that.
Or should you die, called probate. Some people might say that a divorce should be included on this list of impossible issues, but then they don't know what I know.
Check this out.
Marriage Licenses, The Real Truth by Virgil Cooper.
I would have never got married like how I did if I would have known this before.
About 15 years ago, my former wife of 26 years filed for divorce. We had 7 children, 5 daughters, and 2 sons. Our youngest at the time, our second son, was 5 years old. At the time, I prepared a counterclaim to petition for dissolution her attorney filed in domestic relations court. I met one afternoon with the head of the Maricopa County Superior Court Marriage License Bureau in downtown Phoenix. The Marriage License Bureau was headed by a young woman of about age 25. I asked her to explain to me the general and statutory implications of the marriage license. She was very cooperative and called in an assistant, a tall black man who at the time was working on its operations manual for internal departmental use. She deferred for most technical explanations to her assistant. He walked through the technicalities of the marriage license as it operates in Arizona. He mentioned that marriage licensing is pretty much the same in the other states, but there are differences. One significant difference he mentioned was that Arizona is one of 8 western states that are community property states. The other states are common law states, including Utah, with the exception of Louisiana, which is a Napoleonic Code state.
Damn, what's
He
that?
then explained some of the technicalities of the marriage license. He said, first of all, the marriage license is a secular contract between the parties and the state. The state is the principal party in the secular contract. The husband and wife are secondary or inferior parties.
Look at that.
The secular contract is a 3-way contract between the state as principal and the husband and wife as the other 2 legs of the contract.
Look at this shit.
He said, in the traditional sense, a marriage is a covenant between the husband and wife and God. But in the secular contract with the state, reference to God is a dotted line and not officially considered included in the secular contract at all. He said if the husband and wife wish to include God as a party in their marriage, that is a dotted line they will have to add in their own minds. The state marriage license is strictly secular, he said. He said further that what he meant by the relationship to God being a dotted line meant that the state regards any mention of God as irrelevant, even meaningless. In his description of the marriage license contract, he related one other dotted line. He said in the traditional religious context, marriage was a covenant between the husband and wife and God, with husband and wife joined as one. This is not the case in the secular realm of the state's marriage license contract. The state is the principal or dominant party. The husband and wife are merely contractually joined as business partners, not in any religious union.
Look at that.
They may even be considered, he said, connected to each other by another dotted line. The picture he was trying to paint was that of a triangle with the state at the top and a solid line extending from the apex. The state down the left side to the husband and the separate solid line extending down to the right side to the wife. a dotted line merely showing that they consider themselves to have entered into a religious union of some sort that is irrelevant to the state. He further mentioned that this religious overtone is recognized by the state by requiring that the marriage must be solemnized either by a state official or by a minister of religion that has been deputized by the state to perform the marriage ceremony and make a return of the signed and executed marriage license to the state. Again, he emphasized that marriage is a strictly secular relationship so far as the state is concerned, and because it is looked upon as a privileged business enterprise, various tax advantages and other political privileges have become attached to the marriage license contract that have nothing at all to do with marriage as a religious covenant or bond between God and a man and a woman. By way of reference, if you would like to read a legal treatise on marriage, one of the best is Principles of Community Property by William Duffin.
So unless you're going and getting married for the sole purpose of putting the state in your business and letting them be the head of your shit, and letting them get their portion out of if your shit go wrong or whatever, and all that, you know what I'm saying? Unless you're trying to do all that and don't want God being involved in the bringing together of you and your woman, because they don't give a damn about none of that. They look at it as a business enterprise with y'all two coming together, and they finna talk about the children being like commodities to the business and shit like that. I mean, these people just about money, man. They don't care nothing about none of that. And once you put the state in your business, you got to go through them to undo any of your business after that. You know what I'm saying? When me and my wife first separated and divorced, we had to be separated for a full year, living in different residences before we could even get a divorce. That's state mandated, ain't, you know what I'm saying? And whether you like it or not, had to go through that. You know what I'm saying? That's what happened when you put the man in your business and let him control your shit. He get to first say so in your shit.
Yeah. At the outset, he explains that community property law descends from Roman civil law through the Spanish codes 600 AD, written by the Spanish jurisconsults. In the civil law, the marriage is considered to be a for-profit venture or profit-making venture, even though it may never actually produce a profit in operation. And as the wife goes out to the local market to purchase foodstuffs and other supplies for the marriage household, she is replenishing the stocks of the business. To restate, in the civil law, the marriage is considered to be a business venture, that is, a for-profit business venture. Moreover, as children come into the marriage household, the business venture is considered to have borne fruit. Now, back to the explanation by the Maricopa County Superior Court, Marriage Bureau Administrative Assistant. He went on to explain that every contract must have consideration. The state offers consideration in the form of the actual license itself, the piece of paper, the certificate of marriage. The other part of consideration by the state is the privilege to be regulated by statute. He added that this privilege to be regulated by statute includes all related statutes and all court cases as they are ruled on by the courts, and all statutes and regulations into the future in the years following the commencement of the marriage. He said, in a way, the marriage license contract is a dynamic or flexible, ever-changing contract as time goes along, even though the husband and wife didn't realize that. My thought on this is, can it really be considered a true contract as one becomes aware of the failure by the state to make full disclosure of the terms and conditions? A contract must be entered into knowingly, intelligently, intentionally, and with fully informed consent. Otherwise, technically, there is no contract. Another way to look at the marriage license contract with the state is a contract of adhesion, a contract between two disparate, unequal parties. Again, a flawed contract. Such a contract with the state is said to be a specific performance contract as to the privileges, duties, and responsibilities that attach. Consideration on the part of the husband and wife is the actual fee paid and the implied agreement to be subject to the state statutes, rules, and regulations, and all court cases ruled on related to marriage law, family law, children, and property. He emphasized that this contractual consideration by the bride and groom places them in a definite and defined by law position, inferior and subject to the state. He commented that very few people realize this. He also said that it is very important to
tell you
understand
something.
that children born to the marriage are
Tell you something about all these people bashing YouTube and all that, right? I couldn't do this with a book. Is there a book that even have this information in it like this? Because this coming from an ex-judge, a retired judge, allegedly. See the beauty of YouTube? Are we able to present this information? Hell, I probably would have never even heard this if it was been in a book and I was supposed to get it, because I ain't reading no books about none of this. Damn a book. Who said a book had truthful information in it anyway? But anyway.
considered by law as the contract-bearing fruit, meaning the children primarily belong to the state, even though the law never comes out and says so in so many words. In this regard, children born to the contract regarded as the contract-bearing fruit. He said it is vitally important for parents to understand two doctrines that become established in the United States during the 1930s. The first is the doctrine of parent patria. The second is the doctrine of in loco parentis. Parens patria means literally the parent of the country, or stated more bluntly, the state is the undisclosed true parent. Along this line, a 1930s Arizona Supreme Court case states that parents have no property right in their children and have custody of their children during good behavior at the sufferance of the state. This means that parents may raise their children and maintain custody of their children as long as they don't offend the state. But if they in some manner displease the state can step in at any time and exercise its superior status and take custody and control of its children. The parents are only conditional caretakers, thus the doctrine of in loco parentis. He also added a few more technical details. The marriage license is an ongoing contractual relationship with the state. Technically, the marriage license is a business license allowing the husband and wife, in the name of the marriage, to enter into contracts with third parties and contract mortgages and debts. They can get car loans, home mortgages, and installment debt in the name of the marriage because it's not only a secular enterprise, but is looked upon by the state as a privileged business enterprise as well as a for-profit business enterprise. The marriage contract acquires property throughout its existence, and over time, it is hoped increases in value. Also, the marriage contract bears fruit by adding children. If sometime later the marriage fails and a divorce results,
What's up, Brad? Yeah, you can find it in a book. You can find it in books, but you know they don't. Want many copies out. Isn't that true? My point is, though, who's to say the information right here that we could be reading didn't come from a book? You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of YouTube videos that's got information in it that came from books. You know, videos that's got information from a bunch of different books in one video. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, the YouTube bashers, they just kill me, yo. Because they ain't trying to study shit no way, really. You know what I mean? Like, they ain't on no quest to be learning too much of nothing. But the same shit they was taught in the first place. They really just probably just building up the matrix and then got, you know what I'm saying, be trying to come and bash somebody else talking about you a YouTube scholar or you get all your information out. First of all, a person don't even know you. They don't know where you get all your information from. They just assuming shit, you know what I'm saying? Start throwing that shit. Everything you learned, you got it from YouTube. You get everything from, you know what I'm saying? They don't even ask you the question. They just tell you get your shit from, you know what I'm saying? When they ain't reading no books no damn way they self. Don't nobody want to hear that shit.
the contract continues in existence. The divorce
This
is
is why I
merely
don't be trying to hear that shit about people talking about where knowledge comes from. Because an intellectual knows that it don't matter where the information and the knowledge come from. It don't matter where truth comes from. That's not important. The source of the truth ain't important. Who gives a damn where it came from for the most part? You know what I mean? Like, the truth is what matter. But people more focused on where you got the truth from. This shit is dumb. They making that the top priority over the damn truth itself. They want to talk more about where you got it from and all that. Like, man, come on.
Contractual dissolution or amendment of the terms and conditions of the contract. Jurisdiction of the state over the marriage, over the husband and wife, now separated, continues over all aspects of the marriage, over marital property, and over children brought into the marriage. That is why family law and the domestic relations court calls divorce a dissolution of the marriage, because the contract continues in operation, but in amended or modified form. He also pointed out that the marriage license contract is one of the strongest, most binding contractual relationship the state has on people.
Damn.
At the end of our hour-long meeting, I somewhat humorously asked if other people had come in and asked the question I was asking. The assistant replied that in the several years he had worked there, he was not aware of anyone else asking these questions. He added that he was very glad to see someone interested in the legal implications of the marriage license and the contractual relationship it creates with the state. His boss, the young woman, Marriage Bureau Department head, stated, "You have to understand that people who come in here to get a marriage license are in heat. The last thing they want to know is technical, legal, and statutory implications of the marriage license." I hope this is helpful information to anyone interested in getting more familiar with the contractual implications of the marriage license. The marriage license as we know it didn't come into existence until after the Civil War and didn't become standard practice in all the states until after 1900, becoming firmly established by 1920. In effect, the states or governments appropriated or usurped control of marriage in secular form and in the process declared common law applicable to marriages abrogated. Please pass this information along and share it as widely as possible. Divorce. An action in divorce is a request to break the licensed marriage contract. If you desire a divorce and your spouse refuses to consent to a divorce, no state judge will grant you a divorce decree because the judge has not been granted the consent of both parties. There is a way around this, however, which your lawyer will never admit to because he cannot make any money from giving you truthful or sound advice. Note, Puerto Rico is the United States territory acquired from Spain, and it still operates under Spanish law. This was never changed for the corporate United States when Puerto Rico became a U.S. territory. So first you need to fly to Puerto Rico. Once in Puerto Rico, you can establish residency by simply opening a post office box for a period of 3 days. Just after opening the post office box, hire a local paralegal to prepare an action in divorce for you. The paralegal will file the divorce petition immediately, which is generally a certified form document and will be heard by a Puerto Rican judge within 3 days. Under Spanish law, your spouse is not required to be served the divorce petition, only the divorce decree. 5 days after the decree, your former spouse will receive the divorce decree in the mail, written entirely in Spanish, which cannot be contested and must be honored by all U.S. federal and state courts.
Yeah.
Note, immediately after the Puerto Rican judge declares you divorced, if you choose, you can marry again by contract or by license. Both are legitimate, but no one will ever tell you that. The division of marital property and custody of children is a much more complicated issue, but at least the divorce cannot be utilized as leverage against you to divide up your property, less than proportionately, which is exactly why American judges will not bifurcate the issue involved in a divorce. In other words, divorce, division of property, custody, support, and alimony. The hope is that your desire to obtain a divorce is worth more to you than anything else you own, now or in the future. Foreclosure. If you're involved in a foreclosure or you're thinking about filing for bankruptcy protection to buy you more time, instead of trying to defeat the corrupt bank and your creditors in a state or federal court where the cards are certainly stacked against you, plan to file for bankruptcy and do it this way to ensure that you come out on top. All bankruptcy forms are printable, can be obtained online, and they can be completed in longhand with an ink pen. The forms to use are B1 through B8. You only need to prepare and file the first 5 or 6 pages to obtain a case number, and then you must sit through a credit counseling session. which can be done all in a day. When you're completely finished with preparing your petition, you should have filed about 58 pages in total, and the filing fee is around $280. Here's the reason for using the bankruptcy courts. List all of your debts on one schedule, and when it comes to listing your assets, include your birth certificate and its CUSIP number. The value of the mutual fund investment for your birth certificate can also be found online using the CUSIP number under Fidelity Investments. You will discover that it is worth multi-millions, but you must have the CUSIP number on your asset schedule, or the birth certificate will be discharged as frivolous by the judge or the trustee. The bankruptcy judge will then appoint a lawyer trustee to dissolve the mutual fund investment, pay off your debts, and the balance must be paid to you. This procedure usually attracts the attention of the DOJ, Department of Justice, because they don't want the lawyer trustee to screw up and shortchange the Vatican, the Federal Reserve, and the corporate United States, and so they tend to warn or threaten the lawyer trustee to be very careful. Most of these mutual fund investments usually involve a group of between 10 and 25 birth certificates, and so only a fraction of that mutual fund belongs to you. The bankruptcy judge will not certify the final disposition until the lawyer trustee can prove his math in every aspect of his work, because the judge inherits responsibility for the trustee's errors, if he made any. After the lawyer trustee resigns, you can probably cut a deal with the Department of Justice, or you can proceed on with the same bankruptcy proceeding and the newly appointed lawyer trustee. Now, isn't that easier and better than attacking or defending yourself against the bank and a bunch of greedy creditors, knowing full well that the cards are stacked against you because of the Vatican and the Federal Reserve System? While you're in bankruptcy, you are protected. No one can proceed against you for any debts or foreclosure as long as you have a bond or sufficient assets. The birth certificate guarantees that aspect, and while in bankruptcy, you won't have to pay on any of those debts. Your debts will eventually be discharged, and the balance of the trust fund is to go into your pocket. It's a win-win situation any way you shake it, and the Vatican, government, and bank lose the trust fund assets they plan to steal from you all along. Note, there is a process to follow to determine your CUSIP number, or you can ask a stockbroker friend to help you, or hire a broker on the side to assist you. There are people in the Patriot movement who also know how to apply the formula, which converts your birth registration number and or social security number into a CUSIP number. I paid to have mine done and discovered that I am worth about $167 million. It's all fiat money, but as long as it can be spent, who cares? I hope that this entire expose has enlightened and elevated your personal knowledge and will benefit you now and in the future. Peace be unto you.
That's the end of that. Alright. Yeah, that's the end of that. Congratulations on that. You know what I'm saying? Congratulations to y'all on getting that. You know what I'm saying? That shit was powerful. You know what I mean? Hope you enjoyed that. I came across this video. I was talking about this. I was showing that map. I was showing that map of all the crown-owned colonies. Remember that map I had? It had all the lit up spots on that map, and I was like, what's this over here about Russia, like Kazakhstan and all that? And I seen this video on like, they shit super plush over there, like that, you know what I'm saying? They shit like that. But hey, look at this. Somebody sent this to me. I forgot to play it last time. I would have forgot it. I don't be thinking about this shit, man. You know, I don't be thinking about this shit. I don't even... Look at this. Rolling Coal, the strawberry farmer, though. Come on, G. Y'all funny as hell. Amputee becomes strawberry farmer. Look at old Rolling Coal, fuck ass, talking shit on PlayStation with his amputee foot. Get your fuck ass on, bruh. This the nigga that's talking this shit, the niggas on here, bruh? Come on, G. Stop. One more time, bro, and we gonna move on. That shit say amputee becomes a strawberry farmer. Old Rolling Coal. I remember when that guy used to love me, man. I got messages on my PlayStation right now, man. Him praising me. Praising old Gas. Brother. That's when we was brothers and shit. Remember? Cole? Now you got this old man going on my motherfucking channel looking at all my videos, taking screenshots, giving it to niggas talking about I'm ugly and shit. Like I'm a child, like I'm supposed to feel that. Yeah. Yeah, rolling cold. Come on, bro. You a grown man. You in your 40s, 50s. You on PlayStation running around collecting my pictures, passing them around, talking about I'm ugly. I'm ugly, bro. You used to love me though. How you running around like what? Well, I know what happened. I rejected his friendship when I saw he was being like flaw acting and fake acting. You know what I'm saying? So I just was like, I'm good on that, bro. When he tried to extend the olive leaf back again after I seen the fake shit that he was doing. Like, how a motherfucker gonna be doing fake shit and then want to come and try and extend the olive branch to you and you see all this flaw shit? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, Cole, I'm good on that. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. And ever since then, he's been attacking me. Now I'm the worst person ever and all this shit. It was all good just a week ago. Well, we'll move on. Oh, rolling cold. God bless you, man. You know what I'm saying? I hope everything, I hope you sell plenty of strawberries and the season is good for you in 2019. Check this out. I seen this shit some years ago, right? And they got me. I believed it the first time, but I didn't know it was fake. Go figure.
It's right. So all over the equator, all over the line, it's the same. But now, guys, let me show you just
wait, back it up.
There's not a very big.
See what's going on.
This is the middle. So if we are in the middle, how should we worry about?
Alright, so they're supposed to be at the middle of the equator. And supposed to be some funny things that happen to water at the equator. So right here you're going to see a line right here that she's standing on and saying that they right on the middle of the equator and that this water is going to flow straight down through this thing and it's not going to swirl or whirl in any direction because they right above the equator. Let's check it out.
Straight down. It's straight down. Exactly. Look at the surface. Ready? Everybody ready? Sure. Yeah. So look at the surface. Uno, dos, tres. Here we have some leaves. And as you can see, there is not a very big rotation, any vortex, and it is just going straight. So all over the equator, all over the line, is the same. But now, guys, let me show you just a very simple simulation of this effect. And we are going to the south, this way.
You're going south of the equator. Now they're at the south. I remember way back he said he'd fuck me up. And he a fat dude. Nah, man, that's crazy. Now, I don't know if that's really rolling coal or not. You know what I'm saying? That's just something somebody sent on one of my comments on my video so that I would play it. So I'm just putting it out there. I guess they gave that to me since he's running around, I guess, call himself trying to put my pictures and expose me, I guess he think. Well, I'm like, how you exposing me when you only getting stuff from my YouTube channel that's on my YouTube channel? That I've been telling people if they want to see me, go look. I get on my stream and put my face in front of my cam when I feel like it. I was just on there on Thanksgiving. It was people in there. I say that and not one person never pop up and say, I was in Gas stream on Thanksgiving. His face was all in the camp. Like, you know what I mean? They blocked that stream because I was playing music and Christmas music and shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's not my fault that it's not on my YouTube no more. That they blocked it. Shit. Yeah, exposed, right? Got him. You know what I'm saying? Rufio running around. Gas ugly. Whoopie whoop. Rufio's so gay. He want me to look good so bad. You know what I'm saying? So he could be attracted to me. You already love me enough. Oh, God, please let not me be, you know what I'm saying, super handsome, GQ ass nigga. Your flame will really, really turn on. You know what I'm saying? You really get extra sassy. Faggot ass nigga. Talking about I'm ugly. Yeah, I'm ugly, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Glad I ain't trying to look good to your fuck ass. But check this out. Snoop don't think I'm ugly. nigga. None of the ladies think I'm ugly, boy. I bet they think I look better than your motherfucking ass, nigga. Crazy as hell, boy. Nigga try to take some screenshots with a nigga looking crazy and trying, and like, or take some little funny shots. And man, get your clown ass out of here. Check this out though. Back to the lecture though. See what I'm saying? Thank you, Snoop. You ain't gotta tell them though. They already know. I already know. They already know. Well, thank you, Snoop. Alright, here you go. Real shit, DJ. This shit crazy. Now we south of the. We south of the. We
you
south.
remember the direction?
Clockwise.
Yes, clockwise.
We south of the equator. That's what it was.
Cyclones, for example, if you go to Australia. To the right or clockwise?
It's going clockwise,
Yes,
man.
in the south. But now, let's move to the north.
And now it's gonna go counterclockwise. On the north side of the equator. On the northern hemisphere, I guess that would be. Yeah, southern hemisphere, northern hemisphere. They trying to say some bullshit, some globe ass, fake ass globe shit.
The opposite. Let's see. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Oh well, what do you know? Counterclockwise.
To the left.
Right?
Now you feel like home. So
And
different
so,
directions in each side. Remember the natural effect produced by the rotation of the Earth.
See that?
With a simple simulation, we could understand how it works. Okay?
Natural rotation by
the
the.
first.
Get your pregnant ass out of here, lady.
You might have already noticed, we don't see the lady pouring the water into the basin while she's on the equator line. So we could have easily been sat there for 10 minutes and have no vortex in the water, which is why it falls straight through the plug hole. And then when she's on the southern side and the northern side of the equator line, she pours the water into different sides of the plug hole, creating...
Alright, come on, we're gonna just show them.
So
Nah, bruh.
This way.
Cause check it out. She faking, she coming with that fakery. She up there trying to get paid and make money to feed her family around there, around it. She poor as hell.
5-degree angle, I would say.
Look, he had a 5-degree angle.
And I would anticipate that would make a counterclockwise rotation. So let me just add a few pepper flakes.
A 5-degree
See
angle.
the rotations there already.
Look at that.
Obviously it's going to go counterclockwise.
And he let it sit longer than she did.
Counterclockwise.
Alright, alright. Now what? At the slightest angle on that shit.
Push it in that direction. And let's add our contrast material, which is some red pepper flakes.
Well, what do you know?
And now we see we still have a little bit of stillness over here, but we have a larger vortex which has taken over the whole thing. We could let this settle down for a while, I think. You can see there's actually a counter-rotating vortex over here, but the larger vortex is over here. And of course, if I pull the plug out now, it's going to give me the clockwise spiral down, which is what you'd expect. So that's the trick. You just need to have a sufficient tilt in the direction that you want it to go, about that much.
All right.
There we go. Spinning away clockwise.
Alright, now let's see the
Let's
lady.
go back and have a look at it. If you want to see some more Flat Earth information or join our Flat Earth groups,
Nah, cause she coming with that fakery, bro.
Peace on the plane, guys.
If she wasn't, I'd have let her live, but she
If
lying.
we are in the middle, how should we work?
She need this money for this baby.
Straight
Look,
down.
she about to pop and she out here still working.
Ready?
She needed money. First of all, she didn't even pour no water in this.
2, 3.
That shit was already sitting there settling down, so
And
it
as
wasn't
you can see,
no.
there is not a very big rotation, any vortex, and it is just going straight. So
That's
all
out.
over the equator,
That's
all over
out.
the line, is the same.
That's
But
out.
now, guys, let me show you just a very simple simulation of this effect, and we are going to the south.
She said a simulation of this effect too. I noticed that. She said a simulation of this effect. So that means in her mind, she knows she doing a simulation, and she knows she pouring it. She know what she doing. And watch how she pour it. Look at the bucket.
Do you remember the direction?
Look at the bucket, the way she entered that last bit of water. Notice how she entered that last bit too. Now come back. Look at that. Look at the angle on that. She tried to act like she was pouring straight in, and then look, she put that twist on that motherfucker. Exposed her ass.
If you go to Australia, to the right.
See, she put that twist on that. Now check her out on this side.
You should be the opposite.
Oh look, you seen the angle right there. Look straight in, and then tilt that bitch to the side on the last bit. Look, to put that swirl. She know what the hell she doing. Cause why she ain't just dump all the water straight in? How she was doing it? Clearly as day, she's busted.
Okay, guys. So
it don't take a rocket scientist to see that. Cause she started pouring the water straight in, and she could have dumped it straight in, but she clearly tilted it on both sides and made that shit start swirling around like what dude just said. Get her ass up out of here for that bullshit. Flat Earth got many agent giving disinformation. That's right. Look at her ass. She need that money too. She probably in some poor part of the country at the equator, somewhere in South America. Okay. Somebody done hired her and told her how to do this trick and said, if you do this, we'll just keep paying you. All you got to do is just do this every day. And we're going to pay you good. Good. Like Doty good. They finna pay her ass good. Doty money good around that bitch. You think she not going to do the technique and show these folk that? And they telling her, you don't got to feel bad. You're only performing a simulation of what the earth make the water do. It's not really doing it right here while you're doing it, but you're just showing them that this is how it flows in parts of the southern hemisphere, and this is how it flow on that. But just pour it like that, though. And we're gonna pay you Doty good. Hell, we're gonna pay you better than Doty good, probably. Ain't no telling what they hitting her ass off with. When she getting that money, stomach about to pop open. Let's get it. I'm about to create one of these and I'm going to put it on my stream for y'all. Because I'm tired of seeing all this free energy. I'm tired of seeing all this free energy.
Now let's try the experiment.
Hold on, let's bring it back.
Using salt water, strong magnets, and copper and zinc wire.
Copper and a zinc wire.
How to generate free energy for light bulb. Using salt water, strong magnets, and copper and zinc wire.
That's a copper wire and a zinc wire.
For the experiment, I used really low consumptive light bulb.
They
First,
everywhere.
I connected the copper
Not
and zinc
all
wire
dressed like
to the
Bond.
light bulb.
That's right. That's right. Hey,
For
look.
the experiment, I used a cup of water and a little of salt that is mixed with water.
I told you gotta have salt to make water conduct electricity. Otherwise, this shit ain't conducting no electricity. And so your body needs salt. They lying telling people to stop
You
eating
can
salt.
see that the zinc wire is connected on one side of the light bulb. And
Stop eating table salt.
It's very important.
And get some
to
pink
regulate
Himalayan
the
sea salt. Look at this. Copper
Now
wire,
let's
zinc
try the
wire.
experiment.
Wait, did he sit that shit on a copper? Oh no, he ain't even sitting
You
on
can
the
see that the light bulb is immediately lighting once I put the wires in the salt water.
Just from having two wires on that,
Light bulb is
copper and
running
zinc.
quite well with the salt water, but now I will show you how to even increase the lighting of the light bulb using magnets as well.
Oh, you can increase this brightness with a magnet. That's crazy.
For the experiment, I used really strong ferromagnets.
My boy got a magnet, some water, and a
The
salt.
magnetic pole is enhancing the energy flow in the salt
Next
water.
time I go camping, I'm
between
taking
the
one of these
copper
with
and
me.
zinc wire and the light bulb is lighting
Look at that bitch, bro. Oh, that shit is science, bro.
1 cup of salt water can
They
make
want you to
the
get a
light
lamp
bulb
and need
bright
some
to
Duracell batteries to
2
put it
or
in
3
and all
hours.
type of shit. I'm going camping with
You
this.
can see when the light bulb gets much closer to the magnet, it is
See what I
shining
mean,
a
bro?
lot stronger.
They lying
So
like
this is
hell.
how to use the free energy.
They lying about all this shit. They got the whole shit, the whole matrix set up to just extort all of the money and take your energy. Energy extraction matrix. Yep, iodized salt has a positive charge. Is that what it is? Iodized salt? I'm gonna have to do a test on that. Because pink Himalayan sea salt don't have iodine in it. So I wonder, will that make it still have a charge? And matter of fact, I'm thinking it might not have to be iodized. Cause that pink Himalayan sea salt got all them trace minerals and shit. That's gotta be helping your aura to electrify and make your aura and your, you know what I'm saying, your electric field stronger, that salt. So I ain't thinking it is the iodine in it. But I'm gonna check that out though. I'm gonna check into that. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully I can remember. I need to be right. I need to take out a little pad or get on my phone. Every time I say I'm gonna check into that or do something, you know what I'm saying, I need to write it down because my memory, it'll, you know what I'm saying, it'll slip my memory. Y'all don't remind me. All right, science class all over again. You know what I mean? Because ain't nobody talking about this. You can have this right on your nightstand or something if you need it. You know, and then having a lamp plugged into the wall. You just sit this up on a little pedal stool up on your little, you know, a natural light, you know what I'm saying, source. Man, this is awesome, man. I don't know what y'all talking about. Iodized has a positive. Iodized has a positive. Non-iodized has a negative. Really? You can eat both though. Nah, you ain't supposed to be eating table salt. You ain't supposed to be eating that. Not cheap salt anyway. Maybe some I ain't gonna say all table salt. It's just the cheap salts. Cheap table salt is made up oftentimes of 1/3 salt, 1/3 glass, and 1/3 sand. And it get down in the artery and cuts the vein or whatever on the inside and cause it to bleed, and your body send cholesterol to that to patch it up, and it clogs your vein, and that's what causes the high blood pressure. So they tell people to stop eating that salt. You know what I'm saying? But it's the table salt. It's that cheap table salt. Get a high value type of salt if you're gonna get some. You know what I'm saying? I would say get pink Himalayan sea salt because it's got 84 trace minerals. Is it 84 or 54? 84 trace minerals in it. Weird science, yeah. Since my salt doesn't have iodine in it, I got these drops that I put in the water. There's iodine drops. I remember back in the day when I was a little kid, I got a cut on my hand one time when I was like under 10 years old, and my grandma took me in her bathroom and pulled out this vial of like iodine. And it didn't have, you know how them squirt bottles, like you'll have like this little squeezy tip on the bottom tip on the end of it, and it's glass, and you can suck some shit up in it. You squeeze the little thing and then you let it suck whatever up into the tube. Well, this thing she had was so old, it didn't have one of them. It had like this glass, just stem down in that shit that was connected to the top. So when she pulled that shit out, it was like this little glass stem, and she just like dribbled some of that shit on the cut, ran it across, and shit like dyed my finger and shit. But people don't even do no shit like that no more. I never seen nobody do that after my grandma did it to me that time. But they make salt out here. It's pink at first, then they bleach it. Is it? Yeah, they bleaching it and all that. They doing a lot of, when they mine the table salt, the cheap shit people be using, they use chemicals and all that to mine it. You know what I'm saying? Bleaching it, doing everything to it. That pink is bacteria, might be good for us. I don't know. Yeah, it probably is. It's just that they probably doing all the stuff they doing to the salt you talking about because of the way they mining it, probably, or something. So they gotta bleach it and, you know what I'm saying, get all that chemicals and shit out maybe that they use to even extract the salt in the first place. That pink Himalayan, that natural, excuse me, I always leave that part out. It's called natural pink Himalayan sea salt. And that salt is not mined using chemicals. They mine in that Himalayan sea salt using natural methods. That's not using more natural methods. I guess it's not using chemicals anyway. Yeah, guys. I pass the salt flats all the time. It's pink. Damn, really? Damn. I would love to see the salt flats. Where that's at? I heard something about salt flats or something. What the fuck is that? Utah or some shit? Where's the salt flats at? I know they was breaking some racing or some speed records over the salt flats somewhere. Because it was so flat out there. But yeah, I'm gonna make one of these though and put it on stream.
Using magnets and zinc and
look how bright that shit is.
That's all for today. Thank you for watching.
Shit bright as hell. Alright. It's 9 o'clock. Alright. I'm about to get ready to dip. Well, we all over the place with this shit. We all over the place.
Channel. This woman here, she did a wonderful job of compiling evidence of what they do.
Look at that.
Well, hello, and thank you for tuning in to Truth TV News. I'm Vincent Rose, your host, and I wanted to talk to you today about NASA.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
And their Christmas
Damn,
present that
I
they're
did not
giving
know
us.
that.
You know, boy, NASA is
What you agree
really
on?
a joke, because when we think about NASA, we
Seeing
think
the salt
about
flats.
you know, so many different
Damn, I did
things
not know
that
y'all
they
was the
are
biggest
telling
producer of
us that
salt in the
they're
United
doing,
States. Damn.
that could not possibly be possible. I saw
I
this
wanna-
on another channel actually, and this was on the Bling Bling channel.
I know they use chemicals,
And,
though. I'm gonna look
on the
into how they
Bling
mine
Bling
y'all
channel,
salt.
This woman here, she did a wonderful job of compiling evidence
Yeah,
of
give me
what
something to
they
eat. I'm getting
do
hungry, man.
in order to actually fool you. And she started out with the zero-G plane, and showing how the plane goes into parabolic dives, and when it dives, it gives the people who are aboard this plane feeling of weightlessness, and this is what they do on the plane. And I think they pay quite a bit of money to ride this zero-G plane, and as they ride it, it lifts them up off of the floor and causes them to float around. And so she demonstrated that you know, while they're floating around, that this is just a natural result of what happens when you're falling, and there is water or some sort of liquid there, and you can see how that they're doing it. Now, the interesting thing that she does is that she compares this to what NASA does, and demonstrates that NASA does exactly the same thing, only NASA uses several shots in order to do it. What NASA does is NASA actually does a clip where they are demonstrating people floating in space, or not really in space, but floating off of the ground, and then they will actually cut and edit it, and then it will give them a chance to actually continue the dive. So as they go up, you know, they're on the floor. As they go up, they're laying flat on the floor, and as they go down, then they begin to experience that floating, and that's what happens when the plane begins to go into its dive. And you can see that this is what's happening.
It's a
Now,
straight
it takes
indoor
several
free fall.
Different parabolic dive maneuvers. They have to.
This shit is a straight indoor free fall. Just like if you jumped out of a plane or something, but they surrounded by these walls, so they're able to not just float off, you know what I'm saying? They can kind of, and they don't have the force of, also they don't have the force of wind. Because if you was outside of this plane, you could control your direction very easily by tilting your body a certain way. You know what I'm saying? The wind will blow against, you know what I'm saying, whatever angles. You know what I'm saying? You can fly forward, backwards. You know what I'm saying? Streamline straight down or slow down by flattening your body out by the wind retention, you know, wind resistance. But when you inside this, ain't none of that. So you just free falling with slight variation until you bump into one of the walls. What's up, kitty? Until you bump into the walls, right? And then you can just bounce off the wall, depending on how hard you push off one of them walls, you know what I'm saying? If you push off gently, you can just float in there for a while, you know what I'm saying? That's got to be crazy, and I know that feel funny as hell. That free falling feeling, I can't take it. My stomach's so weak when it comes to that. I can't ride roller coasters. That shit kills me. I can't talk, I can't breathe, I can't do nothing when I get on a roller coaster. Like, that shit just locked my whole shit up. As soon as it go over that edge and it make that free falling feeling in my stomach, that shit just, man, that shit do something to me. It just, my whole body shut down. Shut up. Shit gets a stick. I wonder how long they get to do this dive though. Like 30 seconds or something. You know what I'm saying? They climb up, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's probably a long time when you just diving straight down into free fall. Like a whole minute, 60 seconds would be a long time. That probably, man, that shit probably fun as hell though. And this shit is probably expensive as hell to do this.
Constantly dive and climb and dive and climb. And this is what they are doing here. And you can see this is how it's possible for them to float around. But with
these people in here own their own birth certificate and they're a creditor. These folks in here own creditor birth certificates. If you was just watching my videos that just went off. They don't own debtor. You know what I'm saying? That's why they up in this shit. It costs $10,000 a flight or whatever it is. $5,000 a flight to do this. And all the debtors pay for it. Their expenses is written off and they up here flying airplanes having fun while we over here wondering what the fuck going on.
NASA, in order for them to continue to go up and down, what NASA does is NASA cuts and edits the video every time they fall to the ground. NASA cuts the video and re-edits it again. So I'm going to show you how they do this, and you're really going to see it. You're going to be really kind of shocked by it. Just check out this gentleman here.
It's actually amazing how they doing this and tricking the world. Nobody never knew this. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never think that that's what they doing. People talking about, well, we got an ISS and how they doing all that floating. This shit finna prove it all right here. It's like green screen technology and blue screen technology with a lot of that shit, and the person be right there. And just imagine them being in a plane, you know what I'm saying, doing this zero drop, and like they be in there acting like they floating and shit, like playing it off like they really out, when they really just got like 30 seconds to do what the fuck they doing. He finna show it. Watch this.
Now, as you watch this gentleman, what you need to do in this video is to keep your eye not on what his hand is spinning, because you know he's in the dive right now, but what you need to do is keep your eye on the cut in the video in order to see that the video is going to be cut. And
it's green screen.
That's what's about to happen.
That shit
here.
green screen.
So, you know, let's just keep your eye here. Now,
he on one of them planes doing this, acting like he out of space.
On the scissors in the
What's funny to me is that somebody could look at these folks. What's funny to me is that somebody could sit here and act nonchalant like he really not in this dive though. Could you imagine how many times you had to have done this dive to be able to keep your composure and do a whole skit? Right? And do a whole skit though. Like, look at him acting like he eating green beans in outer space. Meanwhile, he in one of them damn planes doing a dive and this shit is in free fall. And he able to just act this shit out like this? You done practiced this a lot of times.
Edit. That's what you need to do, is to keep your eyes on the scissors in the edit.
Oh, he's talking about this.
But what you need to do is you're going to be watching
these
what's
scissors
going
is
on around him.
You have to go look at this yourself.
We can get that there. There the scissors are there.
Okay, watch this.
Now keep your eyes on the scissors here in this edit. There. The
Look,
scissors
don't watch him.
there. No, don't watch him.
Yeah.
Now where did the scissors go this time?
Them bitches
There,
bobbling all around. While he's
time
still
you
doing
cut
this, cut. Look,
video,
he's still eating.
Then you
cut.
can see that the scissors
Look.
move.
They
And
swapping
there they are in a
frames.
different position every time they cut the video, because he cannot sustain being in the air for long. The scissors move.
Dead giveaway.
And you can see that. And if you need to, just go back and replay it again, over and over again.
Look at him doing this shit, acting like he out of space.
Watch it.
This shit is the man.
There
This
it
shit
is.
treachery.
It just moved again. So you can see there. Oh, there the scissors are now. There the scissors are up there. Okay, here the scissors are here. There the scissors are there. So the scissors keep moving because they don't think that you're actually going to be watching the whole thing, the entire video, to see what happens. You know, it just goes to show NASA's fakery. Let's go to something else here. I want to show you that I thought was pretty interesting because, you know, I said, well, if they can do that, I wonder what it would look like, you know, if we were to look at
they lying like hell, bro. Watch this window.
Of them on the ISS.
I'm telling y'all, you folks lying, yo.
Show. And as you can see, they're aboard the ISS.
They be having hella bloopers and shit, but you got to be checking for
how many different clips they do.
Watch
during
this.
The Christmas show here. Let me see if I
now
can
they on the
ISS. I
ISS.
don't really need the volume, but let's just take a look here.
Name of this video,
Now,
Christmas ISS
show,
accident proves that ISS is not in space.
From one thing to another. Now watch this here. I think what he's going to do in a minute is he's going to reach over and grab some stuff out of there.
Look at his hand.
Let's see here. Let's move it over. And
now this is supposed to be a live feed.
Move it over here.
Don't forget, this is supposed to be a live feed, but I think he finna say it too. Hold on.
Okay, now watch this. Watch this here. Now he has the microphone in his hand. Watch them when he begins to cause this food. Supposedly this is the food that they use, that they eat on the ISS during the Christmas season. So he's showing what they eat, and then he's going to give her a chance to speak. But when he gives her a chance to speak, there's going to be a cut in the video.
A subtle cut.
They're going to do some editing of the video, and it's not. You're going to be able to tell it's not the same. This is not the same time in which they're speaking. They're trying to pretend like this is a continuous conversation, but this video has been edited quite a bit. Okay, did you see that? Let's go back again. It happens so fast that most people don't even pay any attention to it. There. Okay.
Look at that transition.
What happened there was that there was an edit.
Look at that.
See that? There was an edit there.
This is supposed to be
He
live
has
feed.
the microphone. Now she has the mic, and there was an edit there. So this demonstrates, and right there was a transition that happened there, demonstrating that this is not a continuous dialogue. But most people don't pay any attention to that. Why is that going on if this is a live feed from the ISS? How is it that on a live feed from the ISS you can have a transition going from one person to the other? And then these also are two different times, because what's going on is that they are trying to compensate for the time that they have to go to the the parabolic drop. It takes time for them to reclimb again, so they have to do that. You see that clip? Did you see that? Did you see it?
Look, he caught
Let's
another
go
one.
back and check it out again.
Look, she gonna throw them shits up in the air.
Okay, there was another one. Did you see that? Now, he's in a different position than he was just a few minutes ago. Watch this. Now he's up, and watch, he's down now. See that? He was up here, then he went down there, and then she ends up with the microphone indicating that this is a cut in the video and that the video is not genuinely a live stream from the ISS. What it really is a heavily edited video in order to deceive the public into thinking that they are really in space when they are indeed not.
Yeah.
They're actually inside one of those parabolic aircraft, and it's keeping them floating, but they can only float for so long. Anyway, you let me know what you think about this. Like, subscribe, or don't. But remember, until next time, that Jesus is the light of the world, and the truth shall set you.
Oh yeah, my boy Big Christian. My boy Big Christian. You know, he an old head though, you know what I'm saying? My boy Big Christian. Matter of fact, I'm gonna let him speak his piece right quick. Let me let bruh talk to him one time. Even though bruh look crazy coming out. Hey look, this nigga
and exchange the truth of God for a lie.
This nigga just shaved.
I guess that's what
you can't even see it. This nigga just shaved, got
all
type of hair all on his shit. My boy got all type of gray hair speckles on his shit.
You know that I don't need to breed anymore because, you know, I'm spreading ignorance. And I want to thank the guy said, you know, there was a guy out there, and I don't know who he...
Check this out. Look at the house in the reflection over here. Big house. Big chimney. Big pretty crib. If that give you any inclination of what his shit looking like. Bruh got that cheesy wheezy. And he a flat earther. He probably done retired from the military or something.
He's a youth, one of the viewers. And he just said, you know,
got
it's
some
a
big
funny
cribs
thing
around
how
that
the trolls constantly get angry about things that we say about the globe. And I don't know if maybe I need to go around back. I didn't know that they were actually out here cutting the grass. What happened the other day is that I had a gentleman to
look what the title of the video is. Number one reason people get so angry about flat earth. What?
He emailed me and he told me that he was disturbed by all of the people on my channel who were trolling me, and he said, man, they just seem to be saying very, very terrible things. And you know, I appreciate that. I think the name, his YouTube name was something like "Use my face to block your punches." He'll know who I'm talking about, because that was actually the legitimate name for his YouTube.
That shit say block handle. Punches with I block punches with my face.
Anyway, he was saying to me that he just didn't understand why people were so vicious. And I wanted to answer that because I believe I know why, and I know why they are vicious, especially when it comes down to the globe. And the reason is because the globe, you know, is a idol. The globe is the main thing that they worship, and so a lot of times they will they'll wig out when it comes down to you saying things about the globe, that the globe there is no globe, that there are no planets, that we live in we live on the firmament, that there is a dome over us, and that we can't leave the earth. They wig out because they have come to worship something so strongly, and it's very difficult for them to wrap their head around the fact that what they've been worshiping is not the truth. And why are they worshiping it? Well, here's the thing. Here's the reason, and I can tell you why I believe that they worship it. Is because we've been taught since childhood from the very moment we were born. From watching television, that we live on around Earth, that we live in a environment that we can just fly in and out of. All of the laws that we have been given by all of the founders of science have been a lie. So it's very difficult to get past the Isaac Newton, the Nicholas Copernicus.
Hey, look, Legs. They got your boy on here. They got your boy on here, Legs. Look at these dudes. We seen these names. Copernicus and them. You know what I'm saying? We seen these guys. Origin of science. Yeah, we seen this guy. Copernicus and what's the other guy that's responsible for the globe Earth too? Pythagoras. Copernicus and Pythagoras. You know what I'm saying?
All of the Galileo and all of the things that we've been taught, these Freemasons who have made up this entire structure for us to think about. So, I want to use my past experience to kind of like give you my understanding of why it's like that. The reason people hate it so much when you talk about the globe, or that there was no space missions and that they were all a lie, like Capricorn 1. You saw it on Capricorn 1. I did take the time to watch that. But the same thing is true. They were showing us truth in movies.
Look at this.
Showing us that they never went to the moon.
You really think this made it to the moon? I'm so glad I played this video. Because I've been talking about the thing that they claim they went to the moon on. My G. Even though this is something they claim they went to Mars on. I think this is from the movie Capricorn 1 that he's talking about. Which I haven't seen, and I need to write this shit down, man. Because I keep saying that shit. I told myself I wanted to see this shit. Let me just put it in the phone. Yeah, I told myself I wanted to watch that. So I could see what they was talking about in this. Capricorn 1. Somebody else watched this too. It's more than one. You see which one he playing right here though. From 1978. Oh, is that the same one? Oh, that is it. Okay, yeah. Oh, they got the full movie on YouTube? Let me see if this is it. Or is they pulling your leg? Oh, it's got 1,000 ups. Oh, yeah, they got the full thing on YouTube. Oh, yeah, I'm going to watch that. Yeah, we might have to watch it on stream. Alright.
And so it's just like they did in Capricorn 1.
Hey, but look.
On us truth in movies.
My shirt that I bought. That shirt I bought online, it says, oh, I got it right here. I ain't even wear this joint yet. I'm gonna wear this joint though. Says, do you really believe this piece of junk made it to the moon in 1969? Research flat earth. And this thing that's on this shirt look damn near just like that right there. I mean, it looked like it's a perfect image of it, but it might have a little bit of something a little bit different on the top, maybe a little bit, some extra. Look like the same lunar modular. You think them folk made it up there to the moon on this? This is aluminum foil. And like some flimsy metals and like, really, bro. This withstood the vacuum of space, and this shit is laughable. When you really like, you know what I'm saying?
And showing us that they never went to the moon. And so it's just like they did in Capricorn 1, only they changed it in Capricorn 1 to Mars. But why are they so upset about this globe thing? Why do they say so many mean things and hatred and
so wait, is Capricorn 1 about them faking going to Mars instead of the moon? Is that what the storyline of Capricorn 1 is? They was faking about going to Mars? to the people or some shit. If that's for real and they really made a movie about that, think about that. Come on now. Don't forget it had buggies on it too. Right. Buggies and all type of extra shit. You know what I mean? And then I could play a video for you right now with them on the moon. Cause I don't even be showing y'all everything. Right? I be trying to compile this shit to bring it to you. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot. It's video footage of them supposedly on the moon, and then dude go over there by that bag that's hanging from that it's hanging from this little thing. It's hanging from over here.
Well, when you get down to it, the hatred is set about this globe thing. Why do they say so many mean things and hatred and everything? Well,
Hey, I thought it was gonna show it. This shit was hanging down from this little it was like this camera bag, and I'll just play it. I'll play it.
Oh, when you get down to it, the hatred is coming from the evil one. The profanity is coming from the evil one. I know that we all use profane language. You know, I have used it in my past myself, and I can use it. You know, if I'm angered, who knows? I may use it again. But I try to control my mouth so that I can bless people rather than curse them, and do like what God says. You know, let your words be seasoned. With grace. And so what I try to do is I try to let my words be words of blessing rather than curse. So that's one reason why I kind of, dedicated my mouth to the Lord, you know. But I do realize that people do that. But I did write some things down about this, and I always wanted to say this. It just says that I noticed really that what it is that there's an evil presence when it comes down to the globe because they worship the globe. The globe is actually their idol. The globe was created from a pagan mindset, an old ancient pagan mindset that seems to support the heliocentric model, which is sun worship. And sun worship again, is something that is very ancient. It continued from, the Egyptian culture. It was supported in the Greek culture. It was even worshipped in the Roman culture. So all of this sun worship, and then the globe, all of this ideology is nothing more than modern day idolatry. And you remember they in the old days, idolatry was the main thing that God had them to combat all the time. Well, just like it was in the days of old, it hasn't left. We haven't changed. People are still idol worshipers, and they're worshiping now the idol of the globe, and that's what they do. So how do we worship the idol of the globe? Well, when I was in the classroom, we would have days when we were told as teachers to reinforce the worship of the globe by having things like
this dude just told you he a teacher. He was a teacher. What?
We would have days when we were told as teachers to reinforce the worship of the globe.
Damn.
By having things like Earth Day, by creating our lesson plans around green themes about, recycling, saving the environment, global change. How do we change the globe? How do we save Mother Earth or Mother Nature? And we would do that, and the reason we would do that is because, we were instructed to do it, and then number two, we had no clue that we were reinforcing a pagan mindset. And that's what our schools now are doing. They try to reinforce a world view that is not godly, a world view where we look at the earth as our God, as the one we should worship. The earth ought to be that way. then when you think about it, you know, you go to the movies and you see, as soon as you sit down to a movie, if you watch television or you watch it on at the show, you'll see Universal Studios come up with that huge globe. And that huge globe is just another reinforcement that we worship this magnificent structure, the globe, and we should revere it. And so it's reinforced that way too. So as soon as you tell someone there's no globe, or that, you know, you're worshiping a false idol, and that we live on a flat plane, as soon as you tell them that, it's like you've cussed out their mother. Really, because you cussed out their Mother Earth, the goddess that they worship. And they worship this goddess, Mother Earth. And so that's just basically the way it is. Now, I realize the earth is important. That's why I'm here in the backyard looking at nature, and you're able to see the beauty of nature behind me. And there are many wonderful things about nature, but we ought never to worship nature. This is only something that God has given to us as a gift. And so, you know, that's the way we should see it. Now, how did Adam see it? Well, Adam saw it the same way, as a gift. God told him in Genesis that he was to go about.
Appreciate that. There you go. Bring that back. That shit wasn't a rock bag. That shit was a camera bag or some shit.
This is Jay, and I'm on the surface, and as I take the last step from the surface, as an everlasting commemoration of what the real meaning of Apollo is to the world, we'd like to uncover a plaque that has been on the leg of our spacecraft that we have flown down many times over the last 3 days.
It said it ain't no. It said there ain't no atmosphere on the moon. This ain't even the one I was talking about, though. This ain't even the video I was talking about. But this bag is clearly rocking back and forth, and they claim it ain't no atmosphere, no wind on the moon.
Our airman completed his first exploration of the moon. And the spirit of peace in which we came be reflected in the lives of all mankind.
Some 7 minutes, 22 seconds away from ignition on the LIM ascent back into lunar orbit.
Hey, in the video I saw, when that bag was moving, somebody started talking to the astronaut and said something to him about it, and then dude went over there, and the other astronaut was like, the one they talking was like, grab that camera bag, you know what I'm saying, get that camera. He went over there and grabbed and took the bag off of this shit and set it up on top of the table because it was moving. Somebody was talking to him in the headset. That's the video I thought this was. But clearly that bag was moving though. Well, yeah, man. What's up, man? It's going on 10 o'clock, man. I'm putting 4 hours upon this jump. I guess that's going to be the end of that. That's going to be the end of that. Another good one. I guess we're going to wrap it up right there, though. You know what I'm saying? Like Appreciate y'all hanging out. You know what I mean? Glad we was able to get this good info out. And I want to play that too. That's I keep it. There's gonna be plenty of stuff to play, man. Plenty of content. Now, let me play this last video again before I dip. Because I'm using this shit next time. Oh, matter of fact, this video is on Brother Yusef L's channel, High Frequency Radio, where he was talking about all that other stuff. But that's where this video also came from.
Mark and Craig, Pop Brothers at Law. We've been warning people, if you are working... Mark and Craig, Pop Brothers at Law. We've been warning people, if you are working for an unlicensed dispensary, an illegal dispensary, and it gets raided, you need to shut the fuck up. If you shut the fuck up, you have a good chance that we can make the case go away. Case in point, 3 employees of an illegal shop were busted during a raid. 2 of them said, oh, I'm just volunteering here. The third guy shut the fuck up. And the DA did not prosecute the guy who shut the fuck up. They can't prove what you were doing there. If you're a customer, a patient, walked in to go to the bathroom, they don't know. You got to shut the fuck up, and it's Shut the Fuck Up Friday, so review the script. What do you say when the cop first pulls you over?
Why'd you pull me over?
And when he keeps asking questions?
Not discussing my day.
And they ask more questions?
Am I being detained or am I free to go?
And if detained, what do you say?
I invoke the 5th.
And then what do? You
shut the fuck up.
The third guy shut the fuck up, and the DA did not prosecute the guy who shut the fuck up. They can't prove what you were doing there. If you're a customer, a patient, walked in to go to the bathroom, they don't know. You got to shut the fuck up, and it's Shut the Fuck Up Friday, so review the script. What do you say when the cop first pulls you over?
Why'd you pull me over?
And when he keeps asking questions?
Not discussing my day.
And they ask more questions?
Am I being detained or am I free to go?
And if detained, what do you say?
I invoke the 5th.
And then what do? You
shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up Friday. Never answer questions when the cops ask.
Have safe holidays.
Tip of the day.
Tip of the day round this bit. And we out this bit. Don't let them jam you up. Y'all stay safe out there. And be good with capital G.